Thanks, Joan.
Hello. Hey, you guys, look, we gotta push this live out for tonight. Make it a big one. Let's do it.
What's up, YouTube?
Make it a big one. It's gonna be good.
Oh my god, Nick.
Nero for the
What's
super
up?
chat. You're the man, Nick. I appreciate it. What's up, Random?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Can't complain.
Nick, I've got a question. So usually they bring up Israel unalived, 20,000 children.
Mhm.
Is that an actual fact? Because I search it up and it differs a lot. So I don't know.
It's not an actual fact because there's no way to know for sure, but it is what Hamas says.
So let's say I grant them that. What do I say?
Okay, well, if it was indiscriminate bombing, you would see something close to the percentages of the country itself that was being bombed. Specifically, for example, Gaza is 50% quote unquote children, right? Meaning under the age of 18 or 19. I think sometimes they include 18-year-olds. And so if that was the case, then why would only 20 to 30%, even if we granted them Hamas's numbers, be the death toll be quote unquote children? So it shows that it actually wouldn't be indiscriminate bombing. It shows because again, just it's kind of like flipping a coin. The more times you do it, the more times you'll get closer to 50-50. That's just statistics. That's like science. It's not like well, sometimes maybe, sometimes not. That's literally science. If you were to flip a coin an infinite amount of times, hypothetically, it would be as close to 50-50 as possible. Whereas if you flip it only, let's say, 5 times, you could get 5 tails in a row or heads in a row or whatever. But as you get more and more, it actually becomes closer to the statistical average, if you will. 1 second. Ilanit, thanks for the super chat. You got this. Hi, beautiful Danielle. That's from Ilanit on YouTube. Says hi.
I
Oh,
know
wait.
who that is. Hi, my love.
As for discriminate bombing, that would be probably even worse because if they were discriminately bombing children, they would get even probably more than 50%. Now, when they respond to that, because they inevitably would be like, okay, well, like maybe, but it's still awful because it's a lot of kids. That's true. And then you go back to what we all know to be true, that they are being utilized as human shields. Kids are not somehow special in the eyes of Hamas. And so naturally, in a densely populated warfare where you're fighting against a guerrilla warfare unit, you're going to see civilian deaths, and that's not like kids are any different. Civilians are civilians.
They always love to appeal to the popular opinion as well.
That's true.
It's just very difficult to get through to them. So it's just like if I bring up that I support Israel in any way, I get called, "Oh, you're a disgusting racist," and I should go
Mm-hmm.
off myself. And it's just like I've done my research. All what you've done is look at a few TikToks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to say to everyone, of course, Shabbat Shalom. I know this is a special treat. I'm not normally live on Friday nights, so for all the Jews in my chat, you guys are being real bad right now. I'm just kidding.
So
Well,
am I. So am I. But it's gonna be a good one, you guys. Like the live, keep sharing it out, join the team, do all the things. Let's get it out there. Make
yesterday's
it a big
live
one.
got pulled offline because we didn't really do anything but try our best to connect with Bassam and the other kid, and it just didn't work. So I could put it back on, but it's like, and we also had that guy from Pakistan that he doesn't seem to care, but I really want to like tell him to like, hey, be careful for your safety.
Nuts.
You put your face out there and you're saying all that stuff in Pakistan. Like, I'm actually worried about that guy's safety. So I did pull it
Hiya,
originally
Nuts.
because I was going
Nick
to
and
one
I missed
second.
you.
Hi, Nuts.
Sorry, Nuts been away for a while.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Nuts.
she's in here.
Hello.
Hello,
So, I wanted to put it back up maybe with a blur over that guy's face, but then at the same time, it just I realized the whole live was just almost nothing. But I don't know. I could put it back. I just didn't really think it mattered. Hold on one sec, you guys.
Nick, I also want I don't know if you have time to talk right now, but
One more stream.
yeah, well I'll drop after this. I honestly I don't want Muslims in the West at all, only because they don't align with our Western values. Hence, they're never going to be able to assimilate to our values, right? So, what do you think? Do you think that's too radical? Do you think that's too obnoxious to say?
What did you say? You don't want what? I'm sorry.
I don't want Muslims in the West at all. Like, I don't think we should like let's say we should have an immigration policy where it's if they're Muslim, they shouldn't be allowed into the West. I mean that's what I think, only because they won't ever assimilate to our Western values.
I mean, do you believe that no Muslim can assimilate at all?
I mean, obviously you'd have a few that would. That'd be like crazy and dumb of me to say if I generalized and said all of them won't assimilate. But I mean, the likelihood of them doing so is drastically lower than everyone else because who are they going to listen to? Us or the word of God and their prophet who was a rapist and was just insane?
How many Muslims do you believe are following Islam that deeply?
I mean, we'll go off the numbers then. So 85% of them are Sunni Muslim, and I'd say them the more problematic people. So I'd say out of that
You think
85%,
you think
I'd on
Sunnis are more problematic?
then Shias, yeah, I reckon so.
Who's the number
You
one
don't think so?
state-sponsored terrorism in the world?
I mean, that's Iran, obviously, but
I'm just offering the
I
questions. I'm not here to tell you you're right or wrong. I'm just saying if you think about it on who is actively doing more Shiism, at least in terms of systematic and actually funding it, that would be the Shias, technically. But if you looked, and now this I don't know, I'm just going to take a wild guess. If you looked at every single Islamic terrorist organization in the world, there probably would be more that were Sunni. To the person in the comments, no, the U.S. never funded Al Qaeda. That's just something that people say online. It's just not true. Anyways, Al Qaeda came much later after America was funding and supporting Afghani resistance groups from the Soviets. There is reports that there's some weaponry that made its way specifically to Al Qaeda, not because of the US, but because other resistance groups were. But Al Qaeda came later after the funding, so it doesn't even really actually make sense. Al Qaeda broke away from the Mujahideen, who they were being funded by America, that's true, to fight against the Soviets. No, I'm not lying. I mean, you can say I'm lying, but you can also just look it up. Here, we'll look it up together right now. ESA directly fund Qaeda.
Thank you, Dark Burner.
I always hate speaking about Al Qaeda because it's like the only one where because U normally comes after A. But yeah, I mean, you can just see right here. Hold on, let me put this down real quick. Right here, no, the United States has never directly funded Al Qaeda. The most common misconception stems from the 1980s Soviet-Afghan war. You can read the whole thing if you want, but it's everything I just said. Now, you can argue those decisions led to them breaking away You can argue all that, but they never funded them. Yeah, exactly, directly. That's the point. It's you Jesus Christ. When you say someone funded somebody, right? That would always be directly. If you're saying indirectly, what you're trying to say is that they funded somebody else who later helped them. But that's not what you originally said. You said the United States funded Al-Qaeda. They never did. Why are these people like so proud? I don't understand. Just yeah, you're wrong. It's fine, dude. It's not a big deal. You were wrong. It's okay. Just say you were wrong. I don't know why. Like I even literally am showing you. It's like crazy how these people.
I mean, what do you expect?
Look,
It's so inbreeding.
I even typed in, did USA ever indirectly fund Al Qaeda? No, the United States did not intentionally, indirectly, or directly fund Al Qaeda. During the 1980s, the CIA ran Operation Cyclone, funneling money and weapons through Pakistan's intelligence agency to the Mujahideen fighting the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. It's literally everything I just said. These funds and arms inadvertently helped build the infrastructure and networks that later, keyword later, all of that's true. If you said that, I would have been like, you're correct. But unfortunately, you didn't say that. It's just a common misconception that people continuously say on the internet, and it's founded in nothing. There are some people who more correctly will say something like, the United States policy helped lead to the creation of Al-Qaeda. Okay, I can argue that, or I can agree with that. That's fine. Do I think it matters? No, it's always brought up in bad faith to try to like twist the narrative as if like the United States created them. It's like, no. But if you say it in good faith, of course I would be like, absolutely, you're correct. Anyways, random. What were we talking about? Forget.
We were talking about the difference between Shias and Sunnis.
Oh, right, yeah. So, yeah, just when it comes to that direct funding and even indirect attacks and whatnot, it's more Shia. If you look at all the organizations in the world, it's probably more Sunni, but to be fair, I'd be willing to bet if you looked at every Islamic terrorist organization in the world, I bet you more than 10 to 15% would be Shia. I'm not saying I know for sure, but I bet you it would be more than 10 to 15% Shia, which would be an
I don't think.
overrepresentation.
I mean, honestly, because I've read over like 1,000 Sunni hadiths, so maybe I'm the one that's being naive, but they're just way crazier and way more disgusting than the Shias ones. I feel like the Shias just, obviously we have Iran, but I feel like with Iran it's a little more anecdotal because they do, to be fair, that they're a powerful nation. I feel like if a Sunni nation had the same capabilities of Iran, they do worse. For example, look at Saddam's regime. Saddam's regime was Sunni.
Yeah, that's true. Iraq is still a majority Shia, though, today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says right here about 15% of the terrorist organizations are Shia, so it's about on par. Okay, somebody's got a loud background. I don't know if it's your Danielle. But, so that would make them on par with. Baby, I'm gonna mute you, okay? Because you're.
Sorry.
Something's. It's okay. You're good. I don't know what you. Just don't want you to like. I don't know. Something bad is said. Her boyfriend's in the other room. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's on par with the global average of Shia. So maybe I was wrong to say that it's probably more, but it's also not less. But anyways, that being said, I don't know. You could be right. I might just coming from a place of that there's so many Sunnis that maybe it just seems like they're like so crazy, but it's just because there's a lot more of them.
Yeah, exactly. So wouldn't you say that they'd be less likely to assimilate because they have more backing from loads of other people? With Shias, I don't feel
Well,
like
no,
there's a lot of
I already,
resources
you
to
don't have
back
to
them up.
convince me. I already believe that Muslims are less likely to assimilate, but that's not what you said. You said to ban all of them. And look, I understand the sentiment of where you're coming from, but at the same time, we still have a constitution, and unless you can convince our government that Islam is not a religion, it's actually just more of a significant political party, you're not going to be able to do that, because then that would be
But that's what it is.
unconstitutional.
I don't understand why it's like a crazy thought. It definitely is. It's not a religion. I don't view it as a religion.
I know you
It's
don't, but you're
it
not a dictator of the United States of America.
yeah, maybe it'd be better if I was. But then again, I'm British, so I
How
don't
about
know
the
how.
Muslims? How about the Muslims that helped us during the Iraq and Afghanistan war? What about them?
That's a good question. Um,
What about the Muslims, right, that have served in Western countries or Israel, who have actually fought for Israel on the Israeli side?
okay, but couldn't we look at it then case by case? I'm just saying we should heavily consider if they should be allowed into the country if they have if they're Muslim. That's what I think. I just think because realistically they're going to despise the LGBTQ community, they're going to despise other Christians and Jews. I mean,
How about
obviously not all of
Persians?
them, but
How about Persians that are Muslim or identify as Muslim?
what's wrong with them? I'd still say the same thing.
You still would ban them from entering the United States?
I wouldn't ban them necessarily. Maybe not ban them, but heavily consider if they should be allowed into the country then. Would that be a better way to phrase it?
Listen, I'm not here to say that I agree or disagree. I'm just asking these questions, right? To me, if you asked me, hey, Nick, stop playing devil's advocate and just answer, I would say that there are a lot of Muslims who just aren't simply following their religion. And a lot of them can be very lovely people that bring a lot to the country, right? But if you ask them on paper, they'll say they're Muslim. I don't have a problem with somebody identifying as anything for that matter. It's how you are as a person that will convince me one way or the other.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. See, I did have that thought, but I don't believe na being naive is an excuse. So I feel like after you hit a certain age, especially as a male Muslim, you should go ahead and do research into your religion and realize how misogynistic it is, and maybe how you're indirectly perhaps funding these mosques and continuing
Bro,
the
if
expansion
we're
of
if we're if we're
Islam.
if we're, if we're defining being naive as having a pious, or sorry, a not pious attitude and not understanding what your religion states, then I would argue that most quote unquote religious people that identify as a religion on paper are naive.
Well, I'm just running with Islam. I know, I agree, but I mean, Islam is a lot more problematic, don't you think?
Well, maybe.
That's why I highlight on that.
Maybe my issue with Islam is how they act today and the lack of modernization. However, if let's say Muslims, let's say 99% of them legitimately modernized, rejected, you know, extremist thoughts and attacks and how they feel about women and kuffar and etc., right? And let's say, even again, playing devil's advocate here, let's say some Jews were to actually follow some stuff of rabbinical law, right? And it was the opposite, like 95% of them are following some stuff. Do you think, in the sense that there would still be an extreme problematic? It's just, for me, my problem with Islam is not that I disagree with it. Obviously, I disagree with it. I disagree with Buddhism too. But Buddhists are not a problem for the world, right? And that's
Hmm.
why I can't stand when a lot 99% of Muslims just come up and they think they're debunking me by just simply calling me an Islamophobe. And it's like, I don't really care if you call me that. If you want to call me that, fine, call me that. I don't, like, words aren't going to shut down my questions. My questions, and the reason I poke at Islam more than really anything else, is because of, it's like you're trying to gaslight me. Like, I see what's going on in the world. I see the issues that a lot of Islamic, I don't care about your, like, well, 80% of Muslims don't. I don't care. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what I'm seeing right now all around the world too. It's not like it's only in Nigeria or only the Middle East. It's everywhere. And so I think it's fair for me to ask these questions.
Issue is, they're never gonna have this moral enlightenment period like, for example, Christians did, right? Or any other religion, because their book is simply the word of God. You can't change that. Their tafsirs can't be changed. Their Sahih hadiths aren't gonna be changed. So you trying to say, hey, maybe they could get a moral enlightenment period one day in the future? It's never going to happen. I mean,
Huh.
I'd love to see them reform. I hope they do. I wish there's less evil people on this earth, but it's not going to happen because it is the word of God, that it's very
Well,
structured,
get
and
out there and start
you're
proselytizing
not
then. Just kidding. I
No,
don't know
but
what
I
to
do
tell
want to
you.
get into politics,
Yeah,
hopefully.
I don't know what to
I
tell you,
want to
man.
get into politics.
I agree with a lot of the things you're saying. I just I don't know what to tell you. It's a very, very fine line, and it's a very, very thin road to ride down.
I agree. I feel like my views may come across as a bit radical, but I don't like beating around the bush. I just want to get straight to the point.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Thank you,
it
Keelan.
hurts me, Nick. It hurts me seeing the Middle East with its beautiful natural resources and how much they can achieve, and it's being destroyed by this degenerate ideology.
Did you just say oil?
Yeah, but
Somebody
this is what I mean.
send in the military.
They they've got 60% of the oil reserves. They can basically control the world's economy,
I'm listening out
and they're
there.
not doing anything with it. They're just not doing anything with it. So it's like it's saddening, and I just feel sorry for them a little bit. But yeah, that's my views. This guy has never traveled to the Middle East. I hope I don't want to.
Hey, you guys. So Nick's doing a debate tonight. He will be streaming it on TikTok, YouTube, X, everything. So we need to get this live out there for people to watch because it's going to be really good. It's with this Saudi national. It's going to be late. If you don't catch it, you can catch it on YouTube tomorrow. But do the things. Send love if you can. Tap, 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 share. We should definitely be higher with the likes. Thank you guys. We love you.
A British guy never traveled outside the UK. They'll bring up the Khaliji countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Dubai, but they still practice modern day slavery.
What does it matter? I've traveled to the Middle East many times, and a lot of the things he said were correct. What you don't have to have traveled to the Middle East and know what he's saying. That's insane. Anyways, all right, bro. I'm gonna move on to this next guy, and everyone on YouTube, if
I'll
you
leave
just
you
do
to
me a
it.
favor, just take a second and click the like button on YouTube. Thank you. All right, y'all. Peace. Or random. Goodbye. Yeah, shot. Go ahead.
Hey man, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Mate, I had a question for you, and I give you my perspective on it as well, just to like give a context. The question is a bit like more general. So my question is that do you think that ever gonna be peace between Israel and Palestine? And my perspective is that I'm Iranian, so like we know like the ideology that's there, and obviously we had interaction with it. What I'm thinking is that like as long as the like this, I think that it's never gonna change unless the ideology change. But I don't see any way for Israel to change the ideology. So I want to see that. What's your perspective on it?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
So then the issue is that like as long as that ideology that they're gonna pretty much bomb and make terrorism and this sort of stuff on Israel, and as long as they're doing it, Israel have to defend itself and bomb back. So this is feels like just like a never-ending war with pretty much no solution.
Well, there's a difference between peace and also just solution. There's multiple different ways to do this. You can also completely starve out the pipeline that leads to, I think it's conservative, to Palestinian terrorism. The peace comes not from the absence of attacks.
Her
It
name
comes
is
from the
Kelly.
what?
Her name is Kelly. You can call her Kelly.
Yeah, I know I can, but called her conservative. She knows I'm talking to her. What was I saying? Oh yeah, peace. It comes from the absence of threat, not the absence of attacks. So if you there's maybe ways to eliminate the threat, at least an existential threat. 1 second. Ruby, I think Rebuby. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Thanks for the super chat. I cannot read that Hebrew, but good morning from Israel. Just because you deserve it. Love your work. Be strong and courageous. Maybe the Hebrew is like the same thing, and you wrote it in English also. But thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, I think that if the like the IRGC and this Islamic Republic they fall, it's gonna change a lot of like the what do you call it, like the this power behind this ideology because they're definitely funding it. But it is still
Yeah.
like because this is like some sort of like they pretty much they baked it into the culture, and like based on at least my interaction with the Islamics in Iran. I don't see that like they really full-hearted, they believe in it and they really want to practice it. So it's like if I mean again, it feels like never gonna end at least. I mean, we hope that something's gonna change, but it's still.
The person in the chat that's saying that the Middle Eastern countries are more developed than 95% of US cities is, first off, just a fucking pull out of your ass statistic. That's insane. And also, I assume you're just talking about the Gulf states that have oil, who, by the way, were all riding camels and literally there was nothing. Look at the UAE prior to finding oil reserves. Literally one of the nicest, cleanest, most beautiful countries in the world. Before the oil reserves were found, they had absolutely nothing. Literally nothing at all. And that being said, can you please explain to me, if your statistic is correct, that they are more developed than 95% of cities in America, which clearly is not true, but let's just assume you're correct. Please tell me what they have invented, because the United States has invented more for the world in every single field, more than all of the Arab countries combined. Can you please explain how a country with 95% less development, 95% of their cities? Because for development, you have to invent things. Please tell me what they invented. Or did they just bring over a bunch of foreigners with foreign technology and foreign influence, and they just use their oil and like, we are too dumb to do it ourselves, do it for us? Because if that's what your claim is, if that's what you define as more developed than 95%, then that's pretty insane. Nope, it's the same claim, Ahmed. I'm talking about development still. They are definitely not more developed. And also, you're not even talking about just these states like UAE. You were talking about the entire Middle East. You definitely are not more developed than 95% of America. That is an insane claim. I have been to multiple areas in the Middle East. I have been to the Arab neighborhoods. And not only do they have no respect or sense of community whatsoever, in the Arab neighborhoods, you are seeing them throw trash on the ground, have absolutely no sense of community. So yeah, as for your new comment, Dubai versus LA, see, that's the point, is you're picking the nicest city, and then you're picking St. Louis. Yes, I agree with you. If you cherry pick Dubai and Riyadh, then yes, sure. You're correct. It is nicer. That is true. But if you pick apples to apples and not apples to fucking just something completely different, not even apples to oranges here, then sure, yeah, okay, maybe sure, you're right, but that's so stupid. That's like me saying fucking it's like me picking fucking Los Angeles versus, I was gonna pick an Arab majority country city, but I'll just say New York since it's pretty much that anyways now. Ahmed, if you're too scared to come up, you're not allowed to spam in the chat. Sorry. The rules are the rules. Thanks, Yashat. LMK.
Hi. Am I allowed to speak if I have the time for a sec?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. God bless Israel, man. God bless US. I'm an Iranian. I live in the US for the past 10 years, and I don't know the connection between us and Israelis. I mean, my family are Baha'i. You pretty much know what that is, like what religion that is. And we were forced to leave Iran basically pretty much. And with all respect to Israel, like, America, like, I rather live in my own country, like, than here with my own people, to be honest. Because of how much of like lefties being so stupid out here, and like, when you're trying to explain to them how it is in Middle East. And it's worse with Arab people and all of that in America because they already lived in Middle East and they already get to experience the living in America. But yet they choose to be stupid when there's a lot of proofs out there to like read the history and figure out what the fuck is going on exactly. That's really bothering, to be honest. But God bless you all. You're guys only supporter of Iran, trust me. If it wasn't because of you guys, nobody would have seen us or help us by now.
Feel that. Thanks. That's awesome. And God bless the Iranian people. I really, really,
Appreciate you.
really hope that this time next year we're not looking back at a failure again of the Iranian people. Really, really hope that there's something
Oh yeah,
that's
I
going on
lost a
behind the
cousin
scenes.
and they shot my brother in the eye and he lost his left eye. So like it's been a chaotic situation.
Jeez. All right, y'all, I'm just reading a little bit. All right. Well, thank you so much. Is that an I or an L at the start of your name?
Oh, that's an I, like I'm Kimia.
That's what I thought, but I just didn't know if it was a lowercase L or a capital I.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
Kimia, thanks so much.
Appreciate you for letting me in.
God bless.
Oh, and I follow you on Instagram for like a really long time and I always watch your videos and make comments. So it's awesome, man. You're doing great. Appreciate you. Keep it up, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thanks to the super chat, Hugh. Is the U.S. in a slight decline nowadays or no? Yes.
Yo, what's up?
Dark Requiem, what's up?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why do you have a Israel flag in your back?
Why does it matter?
No, I just want to know. You support
Because I
Israel?
hung it up. Yes, obvious. Honestly,
Yeah.
when you guys ask this question, like, hey, you hanging that flag, does that mean you support them? If you're not smart enough to answer that question yourself, do you think maybe you shouldn't be on a live?
No, I just want to know why you
No,
support Israel.
No, that's
If
no,
you're from
no.
United States.
That's not what you said. Now you might be saying that. That's not what you said originally. You said, why do you have it hung up? Is it because you support them? That's what you said. And my question for you is, if you cannot figure out that answer by yourself as an adult, you're an adult, right?
Nah, I said.
Are you
why
an
you support Israel?
adult?
No, I said why you have Israel flag.
What was my question? Are you an adult?
No, just answer to me, bro.
Somebody block him. That's a.
What do you mean blocking, bro? I just said.
Because if you're not
Oh
going to
my
answer
God,
if you're
that's
an adult,
crazy.
I don't know, somebody, just a mod, somebody, I don't know, whatever.
Because I love
Jesus
this
Christ,
cat
that's
so
way
much.
too
If
loud.
I'm gonna have a cat,
Yo, plus, you're
if
gonna
I'm
have to
gonna have a
lower
cat,
that background
I lucked into the
noise.
most, like, dude, this is the
Alright, just
most
gonna block
perfect
this guy
cat
too.
ever. But like, if I'm gonna give her to Hugh, then I understand that she's gonna be.
Jesus fucking Christ. I need
Hey,
peace and
Buck.
calmness.
You guys, you're not liking fast enough.
Leave them alone. Stop bullying them.
I'm not bullying them.
Yeah, you
I
are.
work for them.
You're bullying them right now.
No, I'm not.
See, when I was talking earlier about Arab neighborhoods and the lack of like sense of community. This is what I'm talking about. The amount of them that come up and they're just, it's just, you know how rude it is to like come up on a live and just start like screaming and yelling and having all this like loud ass background. It's just rude. It's like, regardless if you like the person you're going up on their live or not, it's just a fucking rude thing to do. And again, I don't know, maybe it's not rude from their culture. I'm not
Did
sure,
you
but
realize that?
all right. Let me see here. On the Palestinian refugees to be agreed upon in accordance with the UN General Assembly Resolution number 194. Yeah. Accept the establishment of an independent and sovereign Palestinian state on the Palestinian territory occupied. Sting, what's up?
Nick? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you?
I just said good, but I can say it again.
No, I'm sorry. That's my girlfriend.
My sister's gonna tune in.
Can you leave, please? Let me talk to her. All right, that's fine. Sorry.
You have a lot of background noise.
You, thanks for
Yeah,
the super
I'm
chat. I
good.
thought the US was in an uprising. No, on Reddit. No. I mean, I don't know. You asked my opinion, and I'm not really. What do you mean? You're saying on Reddit that you're saying, oh, dude, it's Reddit. I don't know. It's...
No, I don't have Reddit. I want to talk to you about the position that's on your background. Like, why are you a U.S. Navy veteran that supports the state of Israel?
Because dude, if you know this is the problem with that question. Because if you know I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, then that tells me you've seen me before. You have at least seen one live before, probably more, but at least one.
I know who you are.
Right? Okay, good. You know who I
That
am.
doesn't prove-
So you've
that doesn't
heard.
prove your
Stop! Don't
position.
interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. You just asked me
You're
a question.
So feminine. It's crazy.
Oh my fucking god. So that being said, if you know me, then you know why I support it because I've answered the question. Now, you may not agree with why I support it, but you do know the answer to that question, at least somewhat. So why the fuck are you
No.
asking me as if you think my
Okay.
answer is going to change? Drench,
Okay.
go ahead. You guys, seriously,
Hi,
if you're gonna
Nick.
come up here, hi Drench, 1 second, please. If you're gonna come up here, stop wasting my fucking time because either you're dead serious with that question and you're a moron, right? And so therefore it's not worth speaking to you because you're a moron and you can't answer your own questions that are obviously easy to answer yourself, or you're just in bad faith. Either way, it's a waste of my time. Drench, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Okay, well, you have a good debate tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can you check?
Yeah, I got you. You guys, as
Hello?
with the bleeps over the words, that's a new TikTok feature. It automatically adds the bleeps. Yes, what's up? PX risk.
Yeah, would you say settlements are going to be illegal under Article 49?
No,
Yeah, why?
because they're not.
Yeah,
Why
but
would I have
transfer
to make
doesn't
the
imply
claim on
forcible.
why not?
Hmm?
Why would I have to make the claim on why not? That's not how claims work.
Did you read the recent ICRC commentary 2025?
It's not recent, or I guess if you think 2025 is recent, then sure, yes, I have read them. It's an advisory opinion.
Yeah, so did you see where it said transfer doesn't imply
Yes, under
forcible?
Article 6, yeah, and they're wrong. Because if you go to the original commentary of why 6 was even added in, it was actually to the context of it was actually added in because of what the Nazis were doing. And so it was actually to combat people forcibly transferring their own citizens to different areas that they occupied. And then the ICRC commentary, the advisory opinion, tried to say it doesn't have to be forcible, but that was literally the original intent of what it is. So they are adding in their own intent that disagrees with the original people that put it in. So that's a hard sell. Maybe it's good enough for you, but that's not good enough for me.
Then why would you say there's so many resolutions against settlements in the West Bank?
How many Chapter 7 resolutions are there?
0.
Why?
Because
Like,
they didn't
why not
invoke-
why not just actually do something that actually takes action? Why avoid Chapter 7?
Does something have to be passed under Chapter 7 to automatically be legally binding?
When did I? Why are you asking a question of something I never said to avoid answering my question? I said
'Cause you're-
if they can take. I'm gonna ask it one more time. Don't avoid it. If they can do something to take action, if they really feel strongly about this, because you can release and advise your opinions all fucking day long. You can do those, right? But if they feel so strongly about it, why have they avoided releasing a Chapter 7 resolution against it?
I'm not too sure because
Okay.
the court's rejecting it.
Okay, fair enough. No,
But,
that's a fair answer, but that's the point.
Again,
Is, to me, it doesn't really matter. First off, even if they filed a Chapter 7, I got to be real with you, and I would say the same exact thing even if the UN was like super pro-Israel. I don't really care much about global governments, just to be honest with you. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm just saying like me personally, I don't really care like who gave anyone said authority. That doesn't mean I don't think there's some common sense laws that they follow that I agree with. It doesn't mean I'm 100% against them, but just like this overall thought, especially in unique conditions where they try to apply customary laws to unique conditions, to me, I don't really care. And again, I would say the same thing even if they were doing a pro-Israel thing. But I care even less when a subcommittee starts to release advisory opinions and then goofballs come up and try to say like, "Hey, did you see that new?" I don't care. I'm just gonna be real with you. Even if it agreed with my position, I still wouldn't care.
Okay. Also have another quick question.
Can you
Would
slow down a little bit? It
say-
sounds like you just took a couple lines before speaking.
Sorry. Yeah, would you say UD Pedestis Juris applies to Israel's
Posidedis Joris.
UPJ?
Yes. What about it?
Would you say it would apply?
In 2026 or originally?
Well, 2026 and originally, but 2026 first.
I'd say originally yes, but 2026 I'd say it's argued upon. I could make the argument that, or I could agree with the argument that it doesn't, in the sense that treaty law works with customary international law, but generally speaking, it's higher in the hierarchy of international law. It goes customary, treaty, Article 103, 107. I think it's 103. Anyways,
107.
107. Okay, Article 107, and then just Kogan's norms, peremptory norms, right? And so, in that sense, because of the Oslo Accords, I would say in 2026, I'd agree with the argument that it doesn't really apply. But then I'd also agree with the argument: does the Oslo Accords still, like, is it still in the air? I don't know. So I'd say it's pretty much up in the air in today's day and age. But originally, I would say that the UPJ principle easily could have been applied, but it wasn't by certain committees.
Yeah, no. Okay, so would you say Israel's supposed to pull out of the West Bank under the interim agreement? Because they haven't.
Sorry, you're kind of mumbling your first words. What'd you say?
No, do you think
Maybe it's because you keep
Israel's
laughing at nothing. Nobody's making a joke.
Sorry,
You
no.
keep chuckling.
somebody sending me texts. Did you say Israel, or would you
Then-
say
then
Israel?
go to your texts. They either be here or
No, no,
there.
no,
okay?
no. You're not important. Is Israel okay? So I really want to. I'm confused under the Oslo II Accord, the interim agreement specifically. Was Israel actually supposed to draw out completely, or supposed to start pulling out of the West Bank gradually?
If it went to a final agreement, that is what was on the table. That's the more appropriate way to say that.
And was it true that Yasser
Have you
Arafat
read Oslo
died to?
II?
Yeah, I know. I've read it. But would you
Why are
say
you
that
asking me if
Yasser?
you've already read it?
I don't understand the interim part.
You don't know what the word interim means?
No, I don't. I thought they're supposed to gradually pull out after the
That's
5-year
not what
period.
interim means, but
Well, it's called the interim agreement, the 5-year period. Was it or was it not?
no, not necessarily. It was aiming colloquially. They were saying in the background like 5 years. It could have been a little bit more. But anyways, what's your question?
Yeah, would you say Yasser Arafat died to a chocolate bar enriched with uranium?
Again, you're trying to like speak so quickly. You're mumbling your words. I heard Yasser Arafat chocolate bar and uranium.
Yeah. Yasser Arafat.
Enunciate your words.
Yasser Arafat died due to a chocolate bar enriched with uranium.
No, of course not. I think he died from AIDS.
That's what the that's what the autopsy said. If you want to fact check me, you can look it up.
They said he died from a chocolate bar?
Yeah.
Who did the autopsy?
Well, let me pull up the exact company.
says right here the opposite. It says that Federal Medico-Biological Agency agreed that Arafat did not die from poisoning, and foul play was not involved. It literally says the opposite when you told me to fact check you. And not just that, there's literally every single source says the opposite. What the fuck are you talking about? The
No,
only one that kind of came
CBC.
somewhat close was BBC saying there may have been, but even that's not a confirmation.
Here, there's National Institutes of Health, for example, PO poisoning as possible cause of death.
Wait, that already
is
debunks
in-
you too. That your own source is debunking you. You said that it was confirmed and I should fact check you, and now you just pulled up a source that in the headline says possible. That's the opposite of confirmation. So why are you debunking yourself with your own sources?
I didn't say it was confirmed. I said,
You did say that.
Is it true?
You did say that.
I said, is it true?
No. After you said that the autopsy confirmed that, you can fact check me if you want. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, he died due to severe nausea, vomiting, and
Again,
diarrhea.
no,
That's
say
poisoning.
yeah when you just debunked yourself. You just brought up a source that says possible.
Semantics.
That's not what you said. That's not semantic. What is semantics? What do you
Getting
think semantics means? No, that's not what semantics means. Semantics is a study of meaning, specifically the meaning of a language. I'm not studying any of that. I'm telling
Semantics
you what you actually said. I'm quoting you. That's not semantics. Semantics would be if you said a word and maybe you didn't mean to say that word, and I was like, well, the definition of that word is this, and so therefore you're wrong. That would be semantics. I'm not doing that. I'm quoting what you said. Now, you could be like, you know what, Nick, you're right. I said that. I didn't mean to. I misspoke. Fine. But don't gaslight us as if you didn't just say that.
Yeah.
So is your new question, is it possible, according to this one source, even though there's sources from a Russian investigative team and also the Federal Medico-Biological Agency that all disagree with the source? So if your new question is, hey, Nick, do you agree there's sources out there that say it's possible? Then the answer is yes. Do I care? Not really, because there's also sources out there by a lot of people who knew him very closely that said he died from AIDS. So I guess it's just as possible.
Wow, W. James David. Amazing, thank you.
Yeah, so would you say both parties were also promised the land
Are you gonna
by the British?
Are you just here to interrogate me? You're just asking
I
question
mean,
after
like,
question,
I'm
and
just
they're not even
curious.
related. Can you let me finish? You're not even related to the original things we were talking about. You're just kind of bouncing all over the place. Why are you curious about what I think?
Because
generally people are curious about what I think because they want to soon get into an overall point that they like to debate or want to know more information about, but you're not doing that. You're just kind of bouncing all over the place. Why are you
gonna
just
all add up.
curious?
I'm making a big point.
No, you're not. Just tell me what the big point is. Get straight to that. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, so would you agree that on the front page of the ICJ's page that it says that even advisory opinions hold great legal
I
weight?
have no idea. Start making claims, dude. Grow some chest
Yo.
hair. Be a man. Just make some claims.
Yeah,
Stop
literally-
asking me,
it
do I
literally says
agree with
that,
something?
so the-
Okay, so just make the claim.
Yeah.
Stop asking me, do I agree with?
Resolution-
Great. Now that you've learned how to be a man, now make your claim. What is your
Alright,
claim?
Yeah, so something doesn't have to be passed necessarily under Chapter 7 to be legally binding.
I never said
Okay,
that.
for example,
I never said that. I
resolution-
don't care. Stop. I don't care because I never
Yeah,
said
I'm
that.
talking
It
about the
doesn't
settlements.
matter. It doesn't matter because no one ever said that. You're taking what I actually said and you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of twisting it to try to imply, yes, it always can be legally binding. That's not what I'm talking about. I asked a
agree
very
with me?
specific thing. I don't agree with anything because you are now changing the subject to something nobody ever said, right? It's very, very easy to do that. I could do that too. I can kind of say what you said and then add in other things to kind of win an argument and get you to say, hey, so you agree with me, right? And you're just gonna be like, I guess, but I never said anything about that. I
wanted me
already
to
have
get to the main
said,
point.
I've already said, right, that there can be things that are binding, right, by the United Nations, more or less. I'm talking about actionable, actions that they could take. I don't care, as I said before, even if it's something in favor of Israel, I don't particularly care about the United Nations or Okay, dude, you're really... All right. You're just a troll. Anyways, Pavel, go ahead.
Nick, so I don't
Thanks,
want to
Melvin, for the
waste too
super
much.
chat. Shalom. Sorry, go ahead.
Nick, I don't want to waste too much of your time because I'm pretty much on the same boat, being a follower of you for a long time. Back with Hebrew Hammer, watching you on TikTok, you starting out as well. So I'm just gonna make it long story very short because I know you actually have people to debate. First of all, I want to say I appreciate for what you do. May God bless you. May Hashem bless you for what you do. I wish you were a lot more strict with your opinions. I guess within a word, I guess I wish you were a lot more blunt with how you actually feel. I saw your video on Jubilee where I felt like you basically got gained out, like you just got a gain against you. I wish he had more time to speak on Jubilee as well, because I think you're extremely knowledgeable. You're a very, very smart man, and this is the type of people that United States needs. This is the type of people that Israel needs.
I'm just not really
I
sure what you
hope
mean
you
by
run for
blunt. I'm pretty
governor.
blunt.
I think you could be more.
What
I
do you
think you could
mean?
be more. I think you're too nice. I think you're too nice at times. I think you're too nice.
Being blunt is not
Um,
the same thing as the opposite of nice. I can be nice,
well, okay,
right?
listen, you got to argue me about that, but I think you are too nice. I think you're too
It
nice of a guy. I
doesn't.
really do.
If you want me to just go into every debate and just be an asshole, that's a different story, right? And I don't think that's an
Yeah,
effective way to debate.
true. But regardless of the point I'm making here, so the point I'm making here, I do appreciate for what you do. I think there are very few people that do what you do. Um, and and understand the politics between Israel, understand how United States benefits from Israel by supporting Israel. Um, I hope that your channel keeps growing. I hope that God keeps blessing you and your wife. And that's literally I'm not gonna sit here and debate you because I don't think I have any strong disagreements in any policies that we view, whether presidential in Israel. I probably
Okay.
have higher support in Israel than you do, but that's about it.
Okay. Guy's fucking weird. Thank you though for the backhanded compliments. Um, Lone Wolf, keep on rocking the free world. Tuesday is dead. Thank you, appreciate it. Ruben, I hope this name is easier to understand. Good morning. Pujota? I think that's his name. Sounds kind of like a Spanish word, honestly. And those that speak Spanish, you guys know what I'm saying.
Guys, keep
Cute.
like it alive.
Thanks for the super chat. I like how you have the old Iran flag. Nice. Thanks, man. Yeah. Don't listen to him, Nick. Yeah, no, I'm not listening to him. It's again, I appreciate the support, but to say I support Israel more than you, how much more can you? I'm over here like
No, I think he
I'm
said
from
he
one
has
state.
more support in Israel than you. That's what he said.
I don't
I don't
think
know what
that's
that
what he said at
means.
all, but that's probably okay, fair enough. I thought he said something else. I was just like, I don't know how I
Well,
can
I
get
don't know
any
what
more
that
than one
means
state
either.
solution, I guess. But I can try. I want a 0-state solution. That's how much I support Israel. Like, I don't really know how to get any more. No, he didn't say that. He said I die for Israel is what I said. Oh, okay. Cool, man. I would one up you by saying I'd live for Israel. How about that? Young Young Jewish, go ahead. What's up? What's on your mind?
Yo, so like I've been having this debate with so many people, and all they ever say is, "Oh, in 1947, 1946, whatever," right? But like if we go back to AD 70, is it not correct that the Roman Empire came in? It was the land of the Jews. They tore down the temple. They named it Al Palestina after a princess named or they named
Oh
it
yeah, fine.
Palestine
Let me get
after a
on.
princess named Al Palestina, right?
No.
I'm gonna
So
get
I
on the
just
show.
want to know your
Next
opinion
up,
on
I
that
want to ask
because
him a
like
question.
As far as I understand, that's what I believe is the
Yeah, I just requested
the
and it
facts,
Christian,
right?
can you
The
mute yourself,
maybe it's
bro?
because I'm the first time caller.
Christian, can you mute yourself, dude?
Oh, sorry.
the as far as I'm concerned, right? Like it only became like I just want your opinion on the whole, like, you know, the land, oh, they stole the land, oh, they bought the land. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay, I feel like you just kind of just like probably listen to lies. It'll come up naturally, but I'll answer you real quick. So first, it wasn't Al Palestina. I don't really know what you're talking about after a princess. It was after the Philistines, and it was Syria Palestina, and that comes after the Assyrians and the Philistines, two enemies of the Jews by Roman Emperor Hadrian. But that said, you know, just to correct a little bit of that, the rest of it, if I can remember, generally was true. Yes, I think there's a little bit more. It's not like it was just the Romans, but sure, that is true. Just a little bit more,
Okay.
you know, to add on. But
Yeah,
for the
it's
most
just
part,
it's just all they ever say when they want to claim the history and who's in the right, who's in the wrong is they just bring up 1946, right? But they don't talk about what happened before that, what led to that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, from my understanding, Israel was the land the Jewish people were promised in the Torah, and that's where they were before. And then they got put into the slavery, and then the Arabs, the Islamic people, came in, and then they welcomed us when we got out of slavery. We bought the land.
bro, you're
They
mixing
said
up a
we stole
lot
it.
of stuff. You're mixing up a lot of stuff right
Yeah,
now.
so that's just why I'm asking, right?
Yeah, all right, but I don't have okay. Yeah, so by slavery, I don't know if you're talking about the Babylon exile. I don't know if you're talking about Egypt, but this is
Egypt,
totally
yeah.
different. Okay, well that's the book of Exodus, and you're going all the way to the Muslims, which isn't until the 7th century. So you're just kind of mixing up a couple stories here and, you know, mixing them up in the timeline. I would just go Google a little bit. I don't really, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't have time to teach like super basic
No, I
history.
understand.
But anyways,
Fair enough.
but you got
Thank
you got some points correct. Just go kind of like Google a little bit of this and that.
All right, thank you.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
Oh, you
Guys,
guys
stop
are doing awesome with the likes. Thank you.
Stop pummeling on Pavel, guys. I there was some weird stuff he said, but he's on our side. You guys leave him alone. Christian, what's up? Go ahead.
Hey, sorry, I watch you exclusively on YouTube, so I'm not super TikTok adept.
Okay.
I wanted to ask. I see this kind of around a lot. I'm just kind of curious what your response is to the argument that, in terms of like Zionism, on, you know, who has the actual right to any land, and kind of using the analogy of Native Americans in America, and like how, if that should be applied in that way.
For the
If you get what I mean.
like the Palestinians being the Native Americans or the Jews being the Native Americans?
Like the idea of like, well, Jews were here first kind of position, and so it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't say that about, you know, Native
I don't
American
really make
Indians.
the argument religiously, like, well, you know, God promised, and or even historically on why Jews control the land. Jews don't control the land because they were here a long time ago or because God promised it. That just makes the land important, and that proves indigeneity, along with the fact that they kept their culture and their ethnogenesis that comes from that land from pre-colonial times. All that's true, but that does not give you the rights to a land or control, right? Controlling a land comes from, well, you can be indigenous to the land and never really left and nobody ever conquered you. That's almost never going to happen. But, you know, I guess hypothetically that's one way. You can get it through diplomacy. You can get it through conquering or diplomacy / defending, right? Jews have done all of that. They're indigenous to the land. They have used diplomatic reasons, like with yesterday in 1918 was when Chaim Weizmann met with Emir Faisal from Saudi Arabia, where he said that Palestine belonged to the Jews, and that if you're a true Arab, you should not fear or be against Jewish nationalism, right? And then obviously the diplomacy they did with the British, the Balfour Declaration, UN, etc. And then they defended the land, right? In the 1948 war, 56 and 67 and 73 and 82, etc., etc. So, yeah, Sammy, thanks for the super chat. Boker Tov, I thought you're keeping the Shabbat. Well, I don't necessarily keep Shabbat, but I do normally not go live on Friday nights because I do know I have viewers that watch me on Shabbat. And so I try to make it to where they don't miss multiple lives, but I do have a debate tonight, so can't help it. To the person in the comments that 1919, not 1918, I'll look right now, but I'm autistically good with dates, so I bet it's possible. I'm not a machine. I'll look it up. Chaim Weizmann Faisal first meeting. Nope, 1918, bud. Sorry. June of 1918, Weissman first met Faisal. Telling you, dude, I'm like autistic when it comes to these dates. Anyways. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no, that makes sense. And then also just kind of unrelated. I don't know. I saw you were posting, or you had one of your lives about getting ready for Jillian Michaels. Is that something coming up soon, or was that?
I think this Sunday, right? I think this Sunday she's releasing the first episode, which is just me and her talking. Namo in the chat, Faisal Weissman agreement. No, yeah, that's probably true, but that's not what I said, bruh. I said when he first met with him. I said it was yesterday in 1918, which is true, June 4th, 1918. Never said anything about the agreement. But, thank you. I was just mentioning it because it was this day in history yesterday. That's why I was mentioning it. Go ahead, Christian, sorry.
It's okay. Do you have any other places you're going to pop up coming up soon?
I don't know. Things are always happening. You know what? Actually, I just got a message today. No problem, Namo. I appreciate you. I got a message today from Roseanne Barr. She wants me on her show.
I assumed.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. She's like, "You're great. You should
That's
come on my
full
show."
circle for me. Are you kidding me? I watched Roseanne when I was like 5 years old.
I still watch Roseanne.
I actually did watch that when I was a kid too.
That is insane.
It was pretty funny how she messaged me. She goes, I saw Roseanne Barr in my notifications, but I thought like maybe it was just like a social media account that just named that, so I didn't even check it. I was like, yeah, I'll check it later. And then it said, "Love to have you on my podcast. You're great." And then I put, "For Roseanne Barr anytime." And then she took my phone number. He's gonna give it to her son. But anyways, yeah.
That's funny.
No,
Well,
she's
cool.
great.
No, I'm glad that you're getting more exposed and everything. So, yeah.
The person in the chat, I thought Roseanne was anti-Israel. Very much not.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, no, she's the opposite of anti-Israel.
She's kind of a radical.
Yeah, a little bit. She's mad. Maybe
You guys
you're
remember what
thinking-
she got in trouble for a few years ago. She's funny as fuck though.
Maybe you're thinking of Rosie O'Donnell. Actually, I don't even know if
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell is. I just assume she's anti-Israel just because she's done with everything
She's
else.
kind of just anti
leftist.
anything, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Like checklist.
She already moved to Ireland, so
Yeah, no, Roseanne is super pro-Israel. Anyways,
okay, cool. Well, that was all, man.
I appreciate
thanks
you,
for
bro.
letting me join in. And have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, no problem, man. You too.
Love Roseanne. Golda, you just entered. Did you hear? Roseanne Barr wants Nick on her podcast. Woohoo! Thank you, Golda.
I do wish, Nick, you had more time on Jubilee. Well, I hope it makes you feel, well, it might not make you feel better, but they did cut like 2 minutes off. I definitely had more time. And it was cut. They cut a lot. The beginning, I really cooked Glenn. He looked really bad, like he was stuttering. He didn't know how to answer. They cut all of that out. Really pissed me off, but it is what it is. I'm reading right now the 2002 summit of the Arab peace deal. I've read it before because it's short, but I just haven't read it in a while. Let's read it together, y'all. Complete withdrawal from the occupied Arab territories. That's hilarious that they call it occupied Arab territories. Including the Syrian Golan Heights to the June 4th, 1967 line and the territories still occupied in southern Lebanon. B. Attain a just solution to the problem of Palestinian refugees to be agreed upon in accordance with the UN General Assembly Resolution number 194, which accept the establishment of an independent and sovereign Palestinian state on the Palestinian territories occupied since June 4th, 1967, which makes no sense because there were no Palestinian territories on June 4th, 1967. In fact, it wasn't even arguably Palestinian territories until 1988, and even then, that's like best case scenario for their argument. So, doesn't really make sense, but let's keep reading. In the West Bank and Gaza Strip, with East Jerusalem as its capital, over my dead fucking body, dude. Just so everyone knows, first off, there's no such thing as East Jerusalem. There's just Jerusalem, okay? There's an east side of Jerusalem, but to call it as if it's a different city, there's no such thing. No, I have not debated Dr. Hota yet for the YouTube chat. That happens in about an hour and a half. I just wanted to go live a little early because why not? No. Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyways, the reason, for those that don't know, the Kotel, the Temple Mount, is in East Jerusalem. So when the Palestinians say they want a capital in East Jerusalem, now, to be fair, I'll try to be fair, some of them do acknowledge, like, okay, maybe other than that, or like, we'll work out an agreement, but some of them just straight up say, no, East Jerusalem's our capital. They are literally saying that they want the Temple Mount, the Kotel, the wall on their country. Yeah, nah. Nah. In return, the Arab states will do the following. A. Consider the Arab-Israeli conflict over. Sign a peace agreement with Israel and achieve peace for all states in the region. B. Establish normal relations with Israel within the framework of this comprehensive peace. This was Crown Prince Abdullah of Saudi Arabia. Obviously, this was the last Crown Prince. Why is the debate so late? I'm sorry, guys. It's because he's in Saudi Arabia. He's a Saudi national, so it's like 9:30 in the morning for him. This is just something we kind of both agreed upon. I forgot it was going to be on Friday. That's why last night's live, I said I wasn't going to go live tonight. And then, like, right after I got off the live, or maybe the next morning, Ahmed from Bahrain, who's going to be the moderator, he was telling me, like, yeah, we're all good. And I was like, I forgot about that. And so that's why I'm live today. Yeah. Dun. I'd been in spaces with him. Really, I didn't even know who he was before, but yeah, sorry you guys, I can't tell you who he is. I just know he's a Saudi national, and I know he has a video on his X where he tries to like say like it's his pinned video. I'll show you guys right now. Thank you, Sammy, for the super chat. If I believe there is moral objectivity, does it mean I necessarily believe in one God, or can morality be void of any omnipresent entity? Sorry, I'm trying to like click and read at the same time, and my brain's freaking out. That's a good question. Hold on. I don't really know what just happened on TikTok. Said reconnecting. I don't know if you guys lost me for a second. But anyways, that's a good question. I would say that is a question that's been argued for a long time. I think that morality could be void. However, in the context of the society we live in today, it goes neck and neck. You froze for a bit. Yeah, I don't know why. That was weird. Sorry, guys. Nothing says, do you think the Jerusalem walk recites a land acknowledgement before each prayer 5 times a day? I have no idea. Is that the Jordanian walk? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, okay. Already it's getting real weird on X. Look at this. Look at this. It says, what is the meaning behind this hand gesture? Dude, it's just people sitting. Why does everyone have to make everything a conspiracy? They're just sitting, bro. Shit, I know some of you guys have wait, where the heck is my camera on YouTube? Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry. Oh, I know why. There we go. I sometimes sit like this. I promise you guys, it's not some secret Mossad hand symbol. Or is it? I don't know. All right, you guys, let's look at Dr. Hota. This is all I kind of really know about him from this video. That's all I've seen. I might have to change the audio source for you guys to hear it on YouTube. Hold on one sec. Thanks for Super Chat Soccer. Sorry for an off-subject question. Destiny harps on Israel expanding illegally via the settlements and satellite settlements. Is it as bad as he makes it seem? Thanks for all the content. Yeah, he's dumb with that. It's not illegal. It's just an opinion that it's illegal. Also, don't care even if it was. All right, you guys, check this out. Make sure you guys, let me know if you guys can hear this on TikTok.
Hi everyone. I've been so annoyed lately with the discourse online that I actually had to make a video about this. You see, people actually think that Israel controls the United States. The idea that a tiny entity founded by Holocaust refugees in 1948 somehow controls the most powerful empire in human history. Well, I'm sorry to tell you the reality, it doesn't. You see, Israel does not control America. It's the other way around. I like to describe it as America being the main account, Israel being the alt account. When Washington wants to act in the Middle East without getting its hands dirty, it executes via Tel Aviv. I'll give you an example. When the United States wanted to provoke or strike Iran, it doesn't act directly. It sends in its alt account, Israel. If Iran retaliates, it hits a small expendable outpost in the region, not the American homeland. You see, that is empire design. The alt account takes the heat, the main account stays clean and safe. Do you actually think that America cares about Israel as a Jewish homeland? The fact of the matter is it doesn't. It sees it as a permanent military base, a jihadi launchpad to project power across the region, not a strategical ally with autonomy, but rather a proxy kept dependent on its patron.
So, that's him. Now, do I agree with everything he said there? No. Do I think he has some points? Yes. Do I think he's being a little high and mighty with this? I like to call it alt account, when in reality, there's a name for this, bro. It's just called a proxy. It's not this, you don't have to like try to, you know, make it seem like you came up with this like whole brand new thing on it. Like, I like to call it like, all right, bro, it's just called a proxy. And yes, in some cases, Israel does act as one, but can't be completely, because if it was a proxy, they would they have definitely done things that go against, you know, America's interests or stated goals on an individual level, and sometimes on an overall bigger levels as well. Doesn't really sound so much like a complete proxy. Like, I can't imagine if the IRGC really said no to, let's say, Hezbollah, Hamas, PIJ, Houthis. I'm not going to say that individuals within those groups might not go rogue. Of course they would, because they're not as super organized, right, when you get to the depths of jihadism. But I'm talking about in terms of leadership, they wouldn't. You know why? Because they are a proxy of the IRGC. It's not particularly. Also, I also come from a place, call me pessimistic. I don't particularly trust Arabs that act like this. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate him kind of fighting the narrative of like, you guys stop saying Jews. Like, he put in the right here, Jews don't run the world. Like, I do appreciate, like, he's assuming, I don't know him, but assuming I'm taking him at face value, I appreciate him being like, you guys stop saying Jews control the world. He's fighting against that trope.
Well, even though you like MBS or whatever, do you think MBS loves the Jews? Like,
No.
I don't think it goes hand in hand.
No, that's actually a really good point. I don't think MBS or any of these Gulf state Muslims, I think they are a little bit more, I think they're more intelligent. I think they're less, I'm not going to say less radical in this, I'm going to say less direct jihadism, right? However, no, I don't think any of them are like, yeah, Jews are our cousins. The Arabs today and the conflict in the region with Israel is a son, not even a cousin, a son of the beliefs of Haj Amin al-Husseini. Because, and I'll go back to what I was saying earlier, Weissman and Faisal literally, and I believed Faisal. He was like, if you're a true Arab, you shouldn't be against Jewish nationalism. They should have a homeland in Palestine. He even said we should start migrating mass amounts of Jews into their homeland. That was Faisal. Do you guys want to know why that never happened? Because 2 years after they first met in 1918, in 1920, 2 years after their first meeting, the French kicked him out of Damascus. This guy. And then at the same time, the British release Haj Amin al-Husseini and then give him a position, the Grand Mufti, not long after that. And he had a very radical ideology. He was extremely, there was no anti-Zionism. He was very anti-Jewish. And everything that has stemmed, right, with a radical ideology stems from the child of the ideology of Haj Amin al-Hussein.
Nicole,
Thanks, Nicole.
W. She's lighting up your gift card. She's insane.
See that.
We love you, Nicole.
So,
I love
yeah.
you so much. I hope you're better.
I don't know anything else about him. That's all I've seen. I didn't know he existed. It was the other day. There's a Jewish woman who's been following me on X, asked me, hey, would you be interested in debating this guy? I was like, yeah, sure. And then she connected me with this guy named Ahmed from Bahrain, who generally moderates these debates. He's friends with Dr. Hota, which does, I know what you guys might be thinking. It does make me a little nervous that the moderator is friend, but I'm, whatever. I'm going to try my best to treat this legitimately like a good conversation. But of course, I have my beliefs, and I'm going to be very direct with those beliefs. MBS is cute. I agree. More his personality, in my
Nicole,
opinion,
my
but
goodness.
handsome also. All right, Falcon. Someone's thirsty in the comments. MBS is actually a pretty good looking guy. Thank you again, Nicole, and Nicole again. Stop it.
I love you, girl.
Dr. Hota kind of looks like MBS a little bit. Now that I think about it. I do like MBS for some ways. Obviously, in some ways, not so much. But there's things that I like about him. There's a respect there. There is a respect that I have for him. Nicole, stop. I'm gonna block you.
She does it the more you say that. That's
I
the
know,
funny
but
part.
I know it's a. I mean, it's fine. It's good.
It's a
Keep going, yeah,
catch-22.
it's great. Let's keep going. You're good.
We love you. I love you. At this point, it's an inside joke.
MBS is not a good guy. I know he's not. However, do you judge somebody based off of the society they live in, or do you judge them based off of your standards? And I'm not saying there's a right answer to that question. I'm simply saying that's a debate. MBS says different things in Arabic. It's fair. Fair point. Nick debating MBS. I paid to see it. Yeah. I'll debate him. All right. Drenched, go ahead.
Hi, I said I was your biggest fan earlier. I just know it's Pride Month. Are you single?
No.
I'm right here. Golda said, check WhatsApp. Take care.
Check WhatsApp. Someone asked who is MBS. Mohammed bin Salman. He is the crown prince and the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia. Because the king is old. He's very old. I was going to request... Oh, wait. I was about to read that out loud. Sorry. I'm so used to reading comments. My bad, Golda.
Funny.
That's a good point, Golda. You're right.
Caught himself.
Don't worry,
Guys,
Golda.
let's
I
get
won't
those
spread
likes
your.
to
I
like
won't
a
spread.
crazy amount.
I
Sorry.
won't spread your deepest, darkest secret.
Nicole, wherever you are, you're amazing and generous.
Hello.
Malik, hello.
Did you know Hitler was right and he
Tell
should
you're
have
amazing.
finished all the fucking Jews?
How many did he get?
He should have got 6 million, but it was a hoax.
So then why was he right? If he
He was
failed.
right because he was right because he hated you parasites.
How do you know that?
Because Jews destroy every country they go
No,
in.
no, no, no. How do you know he hated Jews?
Because Jews tried to destroy
No,
every
no,
country
I'm
they've ever
asking.
been in.
No, stop. I didn't say what did the Jews do. I said, how do you know he hated the Jews?
Because he put them in work camps because they were lazy fucks. They didn't know how to work.
Okay. And so, well, that's the opposite. If you don't know how to work, putting him in a work camp is going to teach you. But that being said, how do you know how many were put in work camps?
Because actually the Holocaust was a lie. It never happened.
You know, I heard that. You already said that, but you're not answering my questions. Why are you so scared to answer my questions? How do you know how many he put in these camps?
Well, it was 271K. It wasn't 6 million.
That's not what I asked you. How do you know how many he put in these camps?
I don't know, because we wouldn't know because
So
it
then
was
if you
all a
wait,
joke.
hold on, but if you don't
Nothing
know,
that comes out
right,
of a
I got it,
Jew's
I got
mouth
it, I
you
got
can
it, I got it,
trust.
I got it. Stop crashing out. I'm having a conversation with you. I'm not dropping you. I bet you expected me to like crash out. Now I'm having a conversation with you. You don't know what to say. So you're kind of debunking yourself. You're saying, oh, he was a hero. He had it right, but he was also the biggest failure. He didn't do anything right. So it's like, which one is it? Shouldn't you have hated him for, let's say you're right. He did have this super big hate for Jews, but he did nothing about it because he didn't kill really any of them. So then how come he's your hero? Shouldn't you hate him for being so ineffective?
No, he was very effective, actually.
How effective was he?
But the only
Wait, how
ineffective
effective?
thing
How
was he
effective
didn't
was
finish
he?
the
How
job.
effective was he?
He killed some Jews. That was the good
That's
thing.
not effective at all. But by the way, the 271,000, if you're going to read your script, you should know what it says. Most of them didn't die by the hands of the Nazis. They say 271,000, and it was actually just by disease. It had nothing to do with the Nazis. So he killed very,
So you
very little,
proved it was a
according to
lie.
you.
So you proved my point. It never happened.
Okay, so let's go with it. So if you believe that, then you believe that Hitler was actually a big failure. So why are you praising him if he was so ineffective? He had all the land. He occupied all these areas. He had all these Jews, and he did nothing according to you. So why would you find him to be effective? Shouldn't you be mad at him for being so ineffective? He could have just shot them all, right? Could have done it in a
I
couple
mean,
days.
if I was his, like, if I helped him, I would have told
That's not
him
what
to
I'm
do
asking
better,
you. I'm
know?
asking you what happened, not what you would have done. Based off of what you're saying, he had them all by the balls. He had millions and millions of Jews in these occupied areas. And you even said he rounded them all up because they were in camps. But he then did nothing? Why didn't he just take them all out? You don't even have to gas on it. You could just shoot them. 1 bullet per person. That's quick. How come he didn't do it? And if you truly believe he did nothing, then effectively what you're saying is he's a failure. And therefore, you shouldn't really praise him that much, should you? It'd be
So
like,
you
think
just
of it this
proved-
way. Think of it this
I
way.
got you to
It would
prove
be
my
like
point.
so you do agree, you think Hitler was a complete failure.
No, you proved my point that he didn't finish the job. That means he didn't want to kill you guys. That means the
I know you
Holocaust
keep
was a
saying
joke.
that. I know you keep saying that, right? Because you're trying to like get me to say one thing or the other. I'm going off of your logic right now. And I'm saying you're debunking yourself. You're saying right now that your big hero that you loved so much was a failure by somebody who had it already. He had millions of Jews. He rounded them all up according to you. They were in camps. It could have been done in days. And you're saying he did nothing. So I'm asking you, it'd be like voting for a politician who says, I'm going to close the borders. I'm going to stop illegal immigration completely. And then you vote for them and he only stops about 1%. No, not even 1%, like 0.5% of illegal immigration. And then you, after their term's done, being like, wow, that was such an amazing president. And I'd be like, why? He didn't He didn't do anything. And you'd be like, yeah, but he really wanted to. He said he would stop immigration, illegal immigration. So therefore, he was a great president. Would you
So
do
wait,
that?
wait. I
Hold
wanna
on.
I
Would you
wanna
do
ask
that?
you
Can
a
you just answer
question.
that question
I wanna
without
ask you a
deflecting?
question.
Can you answer my question without deflecting? Because you keep trying to deflect, which is kind of embarrassing.
Let me
Would
ask
you
you a
say
question.
that?
Why
No.
did
How about
why
you just
did
answer?
Jews?
Stop. Nope, 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 nope. Just answer my questions. I have a couple more. Once you answer them, I promise you I'll answer whatever you want. Fair enough? Would you say that about a president who said he hates illegal immigrants? He's going to do something about illegal immigrants, right? All of the right words, but then ends up doing nothing. Okay? Go ahead and unmute. Don't be scared. It's okay. You can unmute. There you go. Would you end up
Yeah.
saying after the fact, hold on, almost done with the question. Would you say after that presidency was done, again, he did nothing, but only like 0.5% of illegal immigrants. Would you end up saying he was the best president, he was great, and when I said why he didn't stop anything, you come back and say, yeah, but he wanted to do it. Would you say that?
No.
Okay, perfect. So no. So then why would you say that about Hitler if you truly believe that he really didn't kill nearly as many Jews as they say they actually killed? Wouldn't you think the
Because
exact same thing as him?
because most of the countries were against him.
That doesn't matter. You wanted something to be done about them. In fact, you wanted to go above 6 million. You wanted all of them to be killed. According to your logic, Hitler not only didn't do that, he did very, 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 very little, right? So just like the illegal immigration president example that you said, yeah, you're right, Nick, I wouldn't praise that. So therefore you agree you shouldn't be praising Hitler because he failed miserably, correct?
No. You know why he
Okay, so
did
you're
that?
you're just being hypocritical then.
Let me
So
let
you
me
would do it
prove
with the
my point.
president. Sure, go ahead, prove
Let-
it. Yeah, I got you, dude. You're just trying to be consistent to a fault. You know what I said. You know what's going on. All right, you guys. I'm gonna read a couple more things before my debate. I got, let's see, the Arab Peace Initiative. So I'm trying to again, I don't really know this guy. Thank you, Mayan, for the super chat. You are the GOAT. And also Grumpy, here's for our enemies remaining stupid. Yeah, they're dumb. It's so funny when they're just like, yeah, he's our hero, but he also, he also really sucked because he didn't do anything. It's like, which one is it? So I'm trying to guess because, again, I don't know this guy, but based off of just little things that I think maybe I know about it and the topic, my guess is he'll probably make the claim that Saudi Arabia will make the two-state solution happen. Excuse me. And so, specifically because, they'll delay normalization until a two-state solution happens, because that's what Saudi Arabia kind of says for you, right? And so I think generally what I will say, right, because I believe, thank you for the super chat, Ray, not complaining, but since when do you stream on Saturdays? It's actually better for me because I get to watch the stream live. Also, is there a chance to get a happy birthday from you? Happy birthday, everyone. Put happy birthday in the chat for Ray. And yeah, I don't stream on Saturdays, but I do have a debate tonight, and this was literally the only day we could have made it work. So, surprise.
You guys can show some love and get the live out there because it'll be a really good one. More people want to watch it.
My guess is he probably does believe diplomacy is the way and resistance, quote unquote resistance, right? Terrorism has failed. I'm just going to assume that because he seems like a more moderate guy, at least in that specific aspect. So, and obviously he said in that video we just watched that he believes that Israel's America's alt account. Saudi Arabia is a sovereign regional power, he'll probably think, and not a U.S. puppet. And so he'll probably say Saudi Arabia therefore has leverage. What I'm probably going to argue is that, Saudi Arabia has leverage to demand conditions, but they can't necessarily force, they don't have the power to force things, right? I think there's a difference. It separates diplomatic pressure from actual implementation. As for Saudi Arabia making a two-state solution happen, I don't know what he believes necessarily about the 2002 Arab peace plan. But I assume he knows about it. I don't know why. I mean, it was a Saudi Arabia pushed plan, so there's no way he doesn't know about it. I think generally a veto is not a blueprint, right? Because he's going to say they can delay normalization, they can raise prices, fund reconstruction, lobby Washington. But that's not the same thing as forcing a sovereign Israel government and a divided Palestinian nationalism, right? Which is very clearly divided right now into a final status agreement. So I would say a veto is not a blueprint. Saudi can say no to normalization, but saying no does not create borders. It doesn't disarm Hamas, doesn't unify the Palestinian national movements, doesn't solve refugees, doesn't make Israelis accept a state next door after October 7th, especially. If he twirls scissors on his ring finger, he's a barber. That's funny. I do have a question.
Shay Varta wants to know who Houthi is. He's a Saudi national, bro.
I have a question for some Israelis that are in the chat that you guys can probably help me with. So if you're Israeli and you know a little bit more about, yes, it is a breath freshener spray. I don't know why. I don't do it to freshen my breath. I already have a fresh breath. I don't know why. I have this like tick that recently came about me like a week ago where I just randomly like to, I don't know, it wakes me up a little. But it's also kind of annoying because then I just have that taste in my mouth like the whole time. Not that it's a bad taste, I'm just saying. So yeah, so the Israelis in the chat. Yes, I am stimming. Thank you. To the Israelis in the chat, if a two-state solution, let's say hypothetically Israeli government was like, you know what? We're going to accept some Saudi proposed plan. Okay, we want to do a two-state solution. What would be the process from there? Because I assume, and I think I'm correct, but please correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look at the chats right now. That they can't just say that's going to happen. I assume there still needs to be a vote. And I assume just the Knesset, maybe more, but I think just the Knesset. So if you guys can help me, is that true? And if not, what is the process? I love that Listerine spray as well. Yeah, it's awesome. Can you guys tell me the process? Again, under the assumption that the Israeli government is like, yeah, you know what? We're going to look into actually providing a two-state, blah, blah, blah. Tongue scraping is really healthy, apparently. It is. When you guys brush your teeth, you guys should have a tongue scraper. And scrape your tongue. It is actually...
that's where most of the bacteria is.
Okay, so I got one answer because everyone else is saying fuck the two-state solution. I know, you guys, I also don't agree either, but somebody said only cabinet can authorize. Okay. What makes up the and if somebody knows the answers and wants to request and just come up so I don't have to like read the comments, that works too. But like, what is exactly the like, I know what a cabinet is, but in Israel, what does that make up? It has to pass like Hitznatkut, I believe. Okay, I don't know. I know a lot, you guys. I don't know that much. Ooh, ballsy. Ballsy.
Yo.
Citra, thanks for the super chat. Funny thinking what Nazis would think if they saw their 21st century supporters claiming what they would think is an achievement was an actual hoax. Yeah, you're right. I always brush my tongue. Good job. All right, hold on. Israeli law states that giving any land to anyone must pass through a referendum. Okay. We're getting a little bit more information. The word makes me untrue. Maybe referendum, but probably just government decision with Knesset. Only answer if you guys know for sure. It will be decided by the Knesset. Okay, so I'm getting for most people, I think you have to pass 80 Knesset members. That's a little bit more specific. Is that true? I think I'm getting from most people that it has to be the cabinet or something in Israel. Avi, thanks for the super chat. Show me one Palestinian that agrees and I'll convince all Tel Aviv. Just one. Please remember to subscribe to this man. Yeah, you guys, if you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, you guys got to hit that subscribe button. I don't know why you haven't subscribed yet, but if for some reason you haven't. And if you're like, I don't really want to subscribe, really, what does it do? What does it do? It's not going to do anything different in your life, but it makes all the difference in my life. Actually, it would make a difference in your life. You guys will get some awesome lives and some awesome videos. There's no referendum process in Israel. You know, I feel like I should just ask ChatGPT. I made the mistake of asking Israelis a question. It's going to be like 20 different answers. Sorry, no offense. Let's see how I can ask this. If hypothetically the Israeli government wanted to pass a two-state solution, what would the exact process in the Knesset be to actually get that passed? Thanks, Mayan, for the super chat. The Oslo Accords are ratified by the Knesset. Okay. Any other treaty will have to be at least ratified by the Knesset. Okay, okay. There we go. 2 Jews, 3 opinions, Nick. Yeah, I know. Let's see here. If Israel's government wanted to formally approve a two-state solution, the exact process would depend on the details of the agreement, but generally it would involve several steps. Number 1, government negotiates an agreement. The Israeli prime minister and cabinet would negotiate terms within or with the Palestinian leadership or through international mediation. That's probably what it would be. This could include border security arrangements, settlements, Jerusalem, refugees, okay. Cabinet approval. The agreement would normally need approval by the Israeli cabinet. The cabinet votes on whether to adopt the agreement as government policy. And then Knesset approval. There is no single law that says a two-state solution requires X votes, but major territorial concessions would almost certainly be brought before the Knesset. The government would likely submit a resolution approving the agreement. Implementing legislation, budget measures, evacuation/compensation laws for settlers if necessary. Most yeah, this would never happen. It would never happen. Just reading this, even if this is half correct, there's no fucking way. Even if you got the most left-wing government, there's no way there wouldn't be massive amount of like, nope, not doing it, don't care. Let's keep reading. Knesset has 120 members. So it says most legislation requires a simple majority. So in practice, 61 votes. Yeah, no fucking way. There's no way. Even if somehow you can convince them to get it that far in the process, somehow, let's say the Knesset negotiates and does all that. Somebody says they need at least 80 votes, even worse. Yeah, no fucking way. No way. There's no way in no chance that would ever happen. Let's keep reading, though. If the agreement affected matters governed by Israel's basic laws, additional legislation would be needed. Absolute majority. Supreme Court challenges. Opponents would almost certainly petition the Israeli Supreme Court. The court could review whether procedures are followed, citizens' rights were violated, Yeah, there's no way. Implementation phase and so on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Abu Balawa, you were correct with what I read from you. Good job. And a lot of you guys were correct, but yeah, there's just no way. I can't imagine, even if you had the most left-wing government, that it would make it past even that third step, let alone that fourth, fifth, and sixth. And then, yeah, some of you guys are saying, and multiple of you are saying it's 81 votes, which is, yeah, that's even worse. I don't even think they get 61, but 81, that's even more. That's crazy. Well, that makes me a little bit happier, actually. Because you guys know I'm very much against a two-state solution. Okay, let's see. Saudi normalization is the prize. Yeah, I wrote down some notes that I'm guessing, you guys. I don't know this guy, but I think he's gonna probably stem around the idea that Saudi normalization is like the big prize that Israel wants, which, yeah, I think Israel does desire that for good reason. Saudi Arabia has a lot of pull in the Arab world. So I don't think that's a bad claim. I'm trying to steelman his argument. All right, so I think that's a good claim. My argument would be like Israel survived 1948 without Saudi recognition. They survived 56, 67 without Saudi recognition, 73 obviously without Saudi recognition, and built peace with Egypt, Jordan, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, right? Sudan without Saudi recognition. So I would say Saudi normalization is valuable. However, I wouldn't say it's particularly, it's not existential, is what I would say. I'm reading you, Abigail. I'm reading a little bit of TikTok chat, but you guys type a little faster than YouTube, so it kind of goes by really fast. Molly, what's up?
Hey Nick, how are you? Real quick about this whole Saudi terms that they give us for normalization.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Saudis, I don't want to have normalization with people that have such terms. Like they can dictate what we do with our territory. Like if you want to make another state for the Palestinians, you have like 50 times more the land that we have. Like F you. Like they have their terms. Why make these terms? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm very interested in what Dr. Hoto will say, because if he really believes that Israel truly is just like an alt, what did he call it again? Alt state, right? If he truly believes that, then why wouldn't Israel already have gotten rid of the quote unquote settlements? Because America, even some of the like kind of pro-Israel American governments, do not recognize Judea Samaria as Israel, right? They do recognize
Yet.
it still. So if they truly were an alt state, why wouldn't America just now? Maybe again, I'm trying to guess what he'll say. Maybe he'll say that's the point, is that America, like in public, pretends they don't support the settlements, but like in private they do. I don't know. I feel like that's the only way he can answer that, because how can it be an alt state but they're not following what America wants? The only way he would be able to answer is by saying he's wrong, or by saying in secret they like the settlements. I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but I just wanted to say this about the Saudis because we've been talking about normalization, especially before October 7th. If you remember, we had like a lot of talks about that. And like all the time they make these terms of forming like a Palestinian state, which they do know the consequences of that state. They know that like October 7th will happen again and again. So it just makes no sense. Yeah, we want peace with you as long as you have like a knife in your throat. Like what? No. That's not
Right.
people who want in our best.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. No, you're right. You're right. I'm 100% with you, dude. I also wouldn't want peace with them. Or sorry,
Thanks,
normalization with
Mike,
them. Yeah. Thanks, man. You know what I do want to do? I want to watch this video. So somebody sent this to me. It's by Abba Eben. Oh, I'm a really big fan of Abba Eben. For those that watch my lives, you guys know I'm constantly quoting the Arabs never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. If you guys were wondering where I got that quote, it's from Abba Eben. So I want to play this video. I haven't seen it. It's 20 minutes long, but I would like to watch it with you guys because I heard it's an incredible
Is there a
video.
subtitle so I can follow?
I'll check. 1 second. Where the heck is... Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, there looks like there's some subtitles. Hold on a sec. Let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. It's gonna be longer, so we got to get through this because I really want to watch it, and so we're gonna just play right through it, you guys. Maybe I'll pause it a little bit, but not too much.
Nations. If you're curious to hear Ambassador Eben's views on the recent mergers by Arab nations which are hostile to Israel, his views on Egypt's President Nasser and the Arab refugee problem, on American Jewry, and the charge that Israel threatens world peace with a policy of territorial expansion, we'll go after those stories in a moment. And now to our story. Abba Eben, Israel's ambassador to the United States, is a scholar, a linguist, a persuasive orator, a veteran statesman at the age of 43. He has been called the voice of Israel.
Let's speed it up a little bit.
Of his book. Tonight, in order to clarify Israel's problems, her hopes, and her aspirations, we shall put to Ambassador Eben questions raised by Israel's critics, some of them by her enemies. Mr. Ambassador, in its 10 years as a nation, Israel has been involved in repeated violence, major border incidents, 2 open wars with the Arabs, the first in 48, the last in 56.
For those that are wondering, this is 1958, okay? Just to give you guys a little bit of context. So this is before the Six-Day War. This is really just the 48 and 56 conflict, just to give you guys a little bit of a understanding.
What do you foresee for the next 10 years? Do you foresee continuing violence?
Well, Mr. Wallace, the last 10 years have not only been years of violence, they have been incomparable years of joyous creation, of sovereignty restored, of a people gathered in, of a land revived, of democracy established, but there has also been violence imposed by the hostility of our neighbors. For our second decade, we devoutly hope for a period of peaceful consolidation. We hope that there will be no recurrence of the violent conflicts which marked our first decade, but that we and our kindred neighboring people will devote all our efforts to the development of our respective countries and of our common region.
All over the Middle East, too, though, will you not find that the huge majority of the Arab peoples are interested in the extermination of Israel?
We find that the governments of Arab countries still articulate the aim of our extermination. But I think it's beyond their powers to achieve it, and of course, in any international system which respects law and morality, there must be resistance to any such policy.
Do you think that we are currently going through a lull before the storm? Our former Secretary of the Air Force, Thomas Finletter, told Zionist leaders in America just a month ago that the present Middle East situation is a lull before a possible storm, and he added that we have good reason, he said, to be apprehensive over the ultimate direction of the Arab mergers.
I think a great degree of vigilance is called for so long as Arab policy continues to be devoted, if only verbally, to the vision of Israel's destruction. On the other hand, if this lull, as you call it, if this tranquility can be preserved, if passions are calmed, if Israel gives an ever-increasing demonstration of her permanence and stability, I don't exclude the possibility that the present lull might merge into a climate more conducive to peace.
Well, a lull will emerge into a climate more conducive to peace if perhaps some of the issues behind the Arab-Israeli hostility can be settled. Let's take a look at them. First, the refugee problem. An estimated 700,000 Palestinian Arabs were left homeless during the Arab-Israeli War of 48. Israel refuses to readmit them. They live in bitterness, and such men as historian Arnold Toynbee has said this: the evil deeds committed by the Zionist Jews against the Arabs are comparable to crimes committed against the Jews by the Nazis. How do you feel about that?
Well, about Professor Toynbee's statement, I can only repeat what I've written, that it is a monstrous blasphemy. Here he takes the massacre of millions of our men, women and children, and he compares it to the plight of Arab refugees alive on their kindred soil, suffering certain anguish, but of course possessed of the supreme gift of life. This equation between massacre and temporary suffering, which can easily be alleviated, is, I think, a distortion of any historic perspective. But the refugee problem, Mr. Wallace, isn't the cause of tension. The refugee problem is the result of an Arab policy which created the problem by the invasion of Israel, which perpetuates it by refusing to accommodate them into their expanding labor market, and which refuses to solve a problem which they have the full capacity to solve. There is, I think, a basic immorality in this attitude of Arab governments to their own kinsmen, whose plight they could relieve immediately once the will to relieve it existed. All world opinion admits that the problem can only be solved on a regional basis by opening the vast resources of the Arab world to this Arab refugee population, and if there were such an effort on their part to approach a regional settlement, Israel would make its due and just contribution.
Of course, the problem of the refugees is allied with the problem of territorial expansion on the part of Israel. A major Arab spokesman here in the United States, Dr. Fayez Sayegh, says this. He says the area of the territories held by Israel today exceeds by about 40% the area of the territories given Israel by the United Nations. Most of this added area, he says, was taken by force and should therefore be relinquished by Israel.
Well, I think this gentleman need not lose any sleep at night worrying about whether the state of Israel is too big. Really, there is nothing more grotesque or eccentric in the international life of our times than the doctrine that little Israel, 8,000 square miles in area, should become even smaller in order that the vast Arab empire should still further expand. There are really two aspects, Mr. Wallace, to every territorial problem: the legal aspect and the moral aspect. The law is clear. The present territorial frontiers rest on agreements between Israel and the Arab states, which cannot be changed except by consent. The Arab states have signed those agreements, which give them and us a veto power against any territorial change to which we do not agree, so that there's no legal abuse in the present situation.
Well, you and the Arabs have hardly signed a territorial agreement that involves what territory Israel took as a result of the 48 war.
Oh, yes, we have. The present agreements between Israel and the Arab states delimit the precise territory which we hold now. Israel does not possess a single inch of territory beyond the valid agreements which she has signed and which the United Nations has ratified. And
under the terms of an armistice,
yes,
pending final settlement.
Yes, but in that final settlement, as it is written in the agreements, no changes can be accepted without the consent of both parties. So we are within our rights, and they are within their rights in accepting or refusing any change. So there's nothing whatever illegal about any aspect of the present territorial question, but the moral issue is the most important here.
Well, now that's the point that I would like to talk to, if I may. The fact remains, when we talk about morality, the fact remains that Israel benefited territorially from a war, from armed violence.
Yes, I'm glad to say that I hope that whenever countries wage a war of aggression, as the Arab states did, that they should be the losers by waging that war of aggression.
Well, as a member of the Judaic faith, which cherishes social justice and morality, do you believe that any country should profit territorially from violence?
Mr. Wallace, I'm not going into the history of other countries, and I'm not going to analyze how the frontiers of countries of which I've seen or in which I've served were achieved. But we have certainly achieved our territorial settlement as a result of agreements, not as a result of violence. It was they who decreed the method by which the present frontiers were achieved. They rejected the 1947 recommendation We said, let us have boundaries by international agreement. They said, let us fix our boundaries by war. And they made the war. But following the war, we reached agreements, and these agreements define our boundaries, and we and they have agreed that they may not be changed except by mutual consent. But much more important, even than history and law, is this basic moral question. Here we are, 8,000 square miles, perhaps the smallest state in the international community. Here they are, 11 sovereign states, 3 million square miles, 400 times our area, and we have the fantastic doctrine. I will admit it isn't sponsored by any serious government, but one does hear it. The doctrine that this vast, sated, fat, huge, lavish Arab empire should expand at the expense of tiny Israel. Nobody in the world need lie awake at night worrying about whether Israel is too big.
When you talk about the huge, sated, fat Arab states, the 11 sovereign states, it is barely possible that you're guilty of some overstatement. There is also in that area tremendous poverty, tremendous desolation.
Yes, I'm speaking, Mr. Wallace, purely in territorial terms. They really have no reason to envy us, our 8,000 square miles.
Mr. Ambassador, do you foresee further territorial expansion by Israel?
Well, I don't like the word further, Mr. Wallace, because, as I've said, our present boundaries rest upon agreements beyond which we have not encroached. But we certainly do not desire to expand our frontiers. I doubt the reality of this issue. We are prepared to accept a guaranteed settlement with the Arab states on the present frontiers. Are they so prepared? I wonder whether the issue isn't one of Arab expansion. Here sit I, the accredited representative of Israel, and I declare that Israel will sign a peace treaty with the Arab states on the present frontier. Now, you get an Arab ambassador sitting here to say that he will have a settlement with Israel on the present frontier, and you'll really have a story.
Of course, there is one political party, and a fairly substantial political party within Israel, the Herut Party, with 15 seats in your parliament to the Ben-Gurion Party's 40 seats. One of the Herut's major spokesmen, Dr. Joseph Shechtman, wrote this recently. He said, Zionism is more than Israel. For Zionism, Israel's present territory and population are but a partial accomplishment, and the Herut Party is dedicated to territorial expansion. Is that not so?
Yes, but when you've said, Mr. Wallace, that they have 15 members dedicated to expansion, you're really saying, in other words, that there are 115 members not dedicated to expansion. In other words, 85% of the Israeli electorate has put its trust in parties which do not advocate territorial expansion. Therefore, I think one can say that within our democratic process, the concept of territorial expansion has been rejected.
Let's move along. Recently in the Middle East, I spoke with the president of the National Bank of Egypt, Hussein Fahmy, who's a member of the Egyptian Economic Council, and he told us this. He said, Israel as a nation is doomed to go bankrupt because the resources are pitifully limited, some olive and orange groves, a little potash, no fuels, no raw materials to speak of, and its industry, he said, is unable to make enough products to export at a significant profit. Israel can exist only on charity from other nations. What's your answer?
Well, I'm deeply touched by this gentleman's concern, but I will say with a definiteness which may surprise you that there is no reason whatever for any skepticism about Israel's economic future. Let me just say what the main facts are, which build up into a certainty of success. Take 7 years, 1951 to 1957. During that period, our population has increased by 4% per year. In other words, by some 30% in 7 years. Population increase of 30%. What has happened to our national product in those 7 years? It has increased by 75%. What has happened to our export trade? It has increased by 250%. From a figure of $75 million a year export earnings in 1951 to $203 million export earnings now. In other words, all the trends, all the lines are converging towards success, and we think that our difficulties are
Can you believe that guy said bankrupt? That's like... And for those asking, like, is this interviewer, like, dumb? Yes, the interviewer was a guy, his name's Mike Wallace. He was trying to trip Abba Eban up, and Abba Eban is just too smart. I mean, these answers
Chris
are...
Wallace's dad?
What? What'd you say, babe?
Never mind.
Oh, my bad, I misheard. Yeah, so, yeah, obviously that didn't age well. But man, I'm gonna rewind that because that answer was incredible.
For any skepticism about Israel's economic future.
Council, and he told us this. He said, Israel as a nation is doomed to go bankrupt because the resources are pitifully limited, some olive and orange groves, a little potash, no fuels, no raw materials to speak of, and its industry, he said, is unable to make enough products to export at a significant profit. Israel can exist only on charity from other nations. What's your answer?
Well, I'm deeply touched by this gentleman's concern, but I will say with a definiteness which may surprise you that there is no reason whatever for any skepticism about Israel's economic future. let me just say what the main facts are, which build up into a certainty of success. Take 7 years, 1951 to 1957. During that period, our population has increased by 4% per year. In other words, by some 30% in 7 years. Population increase of 30%. What has happened to our national product in those 7
I just heard what you said, babe. I just, like, it clicked. Yes, it is Chris Wallace's dad.
years? It has increased by 75%. What has happened to our export trade? It has increased by 250%.
Yeah.
From a figure of $75 million a year export earnings in 1951 to $203 million export earnings now. In other words, all the trends, all the lines are converging towards success, and we think that our difficulties are transient. These are impressive, basic facts.
They are impressive facts, but the fact of the matter is that the balance between imports and exports is still way in favor of imports.
Oh yes, there is a very imposing deficit in the balance of payments. It becomes less imposing if you analyze it.
The New York Times...
It includes, if I may just
Surely.
refer to this, all the machinery that we're importing, all the capital goods, all the tractors, the machines, the irrigation pipes to make our economy productive. These are all included on the deficit side.
In other words, you're
like
furnishing your house, so to speak.
We're like a man who's furnishing a workshop. While he's building the furniture and the equipment, of course his expenditures are heavy, but he's incurring those expenditures in the cause of ultimate fruition.
The New York Times summed up your economic problems at the end of '57 in this fashion. They said the trade deficit remained between $300 million and $350 million, which meant that for another year, Israel continued to depend upon the astronomical contributions of world jewelry, and particularly United States jewelry, to keep her head above water. We're now faced here, with talk at least, and probably the fact of a recession. Were there to be a serious recession not only here in the United States but in the world, this could be disastrous for Israel, could it not?
Well, we do depend for this transitional period in which our economy is being built upon external aid, and of course if we were cut off from that aid, we would suffer, but we would not be alone in that. Our economic future depends on very clear guiding posts. Agriculture. We can become independent of all agricultural imports except a few staple products. Minerals. To give you an example, we're earning $1 or $2 million a year from our potash resources. This could become $15 million for that single item. Industry, where we're opening new markets in Asia and Africa. And science, where we look to the new fuels and the new forces of nature to compensate for our relative scarcity in conventional fuels.
Talking of America's involvement in all of this, because of the Arab-Israeli conflict, the United States finds itself on the horns of a dilemma. We want Israel's survival and friendship, but we also need the friendship of 40 million Arabs who might otherwise turn to Russia. Do you think that it is in the United States' best interest, therefore, to befriend Israel and risk thereby losing the entire Middle East to Russia?
I think, Mr. Wallace, that your country's only course, if I might suggest it in response to your invitation, is to follow a policy of constructive friendship for Israel and for the Arab states. America has sponsored and stimulated the independence of many Arab states. You would have been false to your own traditions of justice and equality if you had enabled them to become independent in 11 countries and not enabled our people at the climax of its agony to achieve its modern domain of independence. I think that if your policy makes it clear that you seek the friendship of Israel and of her neighbors, not at the expense of each other, and that you regard these friendships as reconcilable within your
Catch up with some super chats just real quick because I'm falling behind and we still have about 7 minutes or 8 minutes left. Anyways. And today places like Swedas from Abu Balawa and Jabal Druze wants to become a part of Israel. Al-Khalil in Hebron want normalization. I'd say Israel should stop giving Av. Okay. Maiden. Even if the Palestinians would become as docile as kittens and will only desire to play D&D, they would have no right for a state on our land. Lejma says, could you or another non-Israeli in chat explain the argument hypothetically legitimizing the hysteria over a tiny country like Israel expanding a minuscule amount, sometimes calling it imperialism? Yeah, it's because they're told to. They're told to care about that. I wish I can give you a better answer, but it truly is that they're told to care about that and not anyone else doing the exact same thing. Didn't Wallace do a series of interviews with Rand? Thank you, Riffer, for the super chat. I don't know. It's a good question. Probably. Nick, please answer his question. Is it worth the USA to be our allies? I actually agree with what Abba Eben said, that it makes sense at the time, especially for Israel to have stimulated the friendship and relationship with both America with both Israel and the Arab states at the time.
Policy. I believe that that would be respected by us and by them.
You don't believe that friendship for Israel on the one hand and the Arab states on the other are necessarily mutually self-canceling?
I think not, Mr. Wallace. Many countries manage, as your own country does, to reconcile these two elements in its policy.
Ambassador Eben, in a moment I would like to ask you about the role of the American Jew in Israel's and Zionism's future. According to a leading anti-Zionist here in the United States, Rabbi Elmer Berger, the Zionist Israeli axis, he says, imposes upon Jews outside of Israel, Americans of Jewish faith included, a status of double nationality, which he charges is both artificial and dangerous. In a moment, I'd like to get your opinion of that charge. And we'll get Abba Eben's answer in just 60 seconds. Now then, Mr. Eben, regarding the American Jew and the State of Israel, as I said, the anti-Zionist Rabbi Dr. Elmer Berger has written that the Zionist Israeli axis imposes upon Jews outside of Israel, Americans of Jewish faith included, a status of double nationality, a status which he deplores. What's your answer?
Well, Mr. Wallace, I have so many pressing duties that I don't follow the wisdom of this gentleman perhaps as closely as I should. I would only say this, that we ask no allegiance, we seek no loyalty from anyone who is not a citizen of Israel. There is a kinship of spirit, of emotion, of historic memory between us and those who share our faith throughout the world. If American Jews wish to express that kinship, it is for them so to do. If not, then that also is their decision. We, as a free nation speaking to a free nation, set forth the reasons why we believe they will find it infinitely rewarding to draw upon our common heritage and to sustain us in our great historic enterprise, but it is their decision, and we impose nothing on them at all.
Your own Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, wrote back in 1953 this. He said, when a Jew in America speaks of our government to his fellow Jews, he usually means the government of Israel, while the Jewish public in various countries view the Israeli ambassadors as their own representatives. Wouldn't that appear anyway to support Rabbi Berger's statement?
I think not, Mr. Wallace. I'm sure that the Prime Minister was speaking in these terms of historic sympathy. We do evoke a certain affection, certain impulses of responsibility, but the clear division of political allegiance is, I think, fully understood on both sides. We impose nothing upon them. We seek, as I've said, no allegiance from them. There is a kinship of history which both they and we seek voluntarily to express, and for which there are so many examples, both in our own tradition and in yours.
Yeah, all right. I mean, the point is that he's a very good speaker. That's the point. It's about done anyways. It's only 3 more minutes left, but yeah. That is Abba Eben. And history, because again, that was 1958. History would show that he was pretty much right in just about everything he said. History was definitely favorable to Mr. Eben.
Can you please just open the door for Luna?
Yeah. Hi, Mommy.
Debate starts in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Why you just want to hang out with your dad, huh? Hmm? You just want to be with your dad.
It's literally the cutest thing I've ever seen.
He just melts in my arms. She'll just scream until I hold her, and then she's like, that's better. Oh, that's better. Did you guys notice how people used to speak back then, though? Like, they enunciated all of their words. They had that, like, old TV style voice. Like, they they kind of, like, have an inflection in every word. Like, what'd you say? Would you say that Israel is going to go bankrupt in 10 years? No, I wouldn't say that, Mr. Ambassador. Hi. Do you imagine Tucker Carlson being a reporter back in the day? Like having a mix between his voice now and like that old school voice. That's, hey, will you stop? Be like, it's I think that somehow that Israel's going to go bankrupt in quite a few years. And then his laugh would be like, oh. Oh, Luna. Would you ever consider getting a dog, Nick? Yeah, I love dogs. I just kind of like the chillness of cats. Because, unfortunately, my favorite dogs are bigger ones, and they're not always the chillest. Sometimes they can be, but not as babies. But I like, like pit bulls and German shepherds and whatnot. Don't shock collar it like some communist streamers do. That's funny. Bracha's super busy, but she's doing well. I do need to reach out to Rabbi Lid. I talked to him the other day. He was in the Holy Land last time I spoke to him, so he was busy, but I don't know if he's still there. I won't message him today because it's Shabbat anyways, but message him tomorrow. Hey, Nick, did you see the protests in Albania and the new government in Slovenia wants to recall its recognition of the Palestinian state and be friends with Israel? I didn't know about the second part. I did see what happened in Albania. All right, Luna. Come on. I love you, but you're not helping me right now. Let's see what else we got. My notes I took earlier. Let's see. I know he's going to argue that diplomacy definitely worked more than resistance, which I think we'll agree on that. I will say diplomacy requires someone who can sign and enforce, though, of course. And, you know, who signs for the Palestinians today? Who is it? Is it Abbas? Is it Hamas? Is it PIJ? Is it Qatar? Is it Turkey? Is it Iran? Is it Saudi Arabia? And I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, you guys. Older millennial in the house. Nick should have a kitty cam? What is a kitty cam? I mean, I do have cameras that look at the cat, but like, what do you mean by that? Like a camera on her? Put it up in the corner so you guys can see like Luna running around this house. All right, so what should I say with him saying, okay, Israel is an American alt account or alt state or whatever you said. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna argue you can't really say that Israel has no agency and then blame Israel for rejecting peace, right? Doesn't really make much sense unless he's gonna say that America's the one secretly rejecting peace. Again, I have no idea. I am curious. I'm very curious on how he's going to respond to that. Maybe he is like has some conspiracy like America's purposely causing all of the behind the scenes, like everything they accuse the Jews of doing with that little like rubbing hand emoji that they do with the Jews. Like maybe he thinks exactly that, but like just for America. But it doesn't make much sense to say like Israel has no agency and then blame Israel for rejecting peace and then say Saudi will force Israel through America, because then which actor actually controls the outcome in his model, you know what I mean? Yes, he said Israel's the alt account and US is the main account. That's true. That's what I'm saying. And then I'm assuming he believes Saudi Arabia has more ability than Israel to defy America, which to be honest, probably true, but I don't know if that comes so much from more sovereignty. I think that just comes from Saudi Arabia is not really like we're allies with them, but they're not like, you know, it's a lot more up in the air than it is with Israel. So I think it's true, but for different reasons. But I would just simply say good, you know, then Saudi can choose not to normalize, but sovereignty does not equal omnipotence. Sorry, 1 second. Do not. No. Oh, right here. Hey. One second, you guys. Yeah. So yeah, you know, I would just simply say, yeah, sovereignty does not equal omnipotence, and Saudi can control Saudi policy, which is great. That's awesome for them. And I do believe they can, of course. But it cannot control Israeli elections, like we were talking about, the 81 votes, all that stuff. It can't control Palestinian factions, Palestinian national movements, security realities, excuse me. Why isn't Saudi responding to Iranian attacks? Good question. Maybe they're playing the long game. Gaza was the 2 states. Look how it turned out. Yes, Abigail, that's true. I saw you said that before. I agree. Right. Meow. Meow. Come here, mommy. You're just a lonely little kitty, huh? Just a lonely little kitty. Okay.
Seriously, like, is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Like, stare at.
It's just, I have to let her do this sometimes. It's kind of hard to speak like this. She's literally licking my... Why are you licking my neck? Hmm? No, she's not a Persian cat. She's a ragdoll. Why are you on so late? Just wondering. Because I have a debate at 11:30 p.m., which is in 30 minutes.
This isn't very late. I mean, you're usually still on right now.
This person might be new. Might not know.
Oh.
This is... Sorry, babe. This is literally my world. Look at this thing. Look at her. Oh, you're Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, that's true. I am Pacific. She's soothing you before the debate. Yeah. Are you done? Come on, let's go. I gotta get ready for the debate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right, y'all.
Hi, Lammy. She doesn't do that with me. She used to. She did for the first year of her life.
Slobbered on me. How'd your debate with Ben Burgess go? Yeah, it went well. He wasn't as good faith as I thought it was. He spoke way more. He just kept interrupting and yelling, and it's just like... But I think overall, just like the narrative argument, he sounded insane. He just was like, I want a one-state solution where everyone has equal rights. I'm like, okay, how do you implement that? And he's like, I don't know, I want it. That was like pretty much the whole argument. I'm not even like, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I'm not even being like that much, to be honest.
Hello, Lamb Chop.
Oh
Lammy.
shit! My what up, y'all?
Hello.
What's up?
How are y'all?
How are you
I'm
doing?
chilling. Just got done blasting music and playing games to clear my mind, and didn't actually even realize I requested. I was just doing shit.
Hold on one sec,
happens,
y'all.
you know, Lammy?
The Mad Philosopher puts, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Nick, were you aware of a video that accuses the Jews of allegedly committing crimes or atrocities in China? Is there a new one? Because I remember one from like months ago where they were talking about that, but I don't know if you're talking about a new one. If it's new, then no, I don't know about it, to be honest with you.
How you been, Nick? I feel like you've been all over the world, sir.
I feel that way too, honestly. I've been good, man.
Yep.
Yep.
Y'all can't hear Lamb Chop?
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna go and enjoy my night and probably pass out to Nick beating somebody else in a debate.
Appreciate it. Have
Alright,
fun.
Lammy, we'll hang out tomorrow and you mingle, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Thanks. Oh, you guys can't hear him. I know why. Hold on, sorry. One sec, y'all. Really need to fix that, and I don't know how. I need to figure that out later. Okay. You guys should be able to hear him now. Wait, did you guys hear Donnie the whole time, or was it just Lamb Chop? And I'm not talking to you guys on YouTube. I know you guys heard everything. I'm talking to the... Oh, we heard Donnie. Oh, that's interesting. So it's like... TikTok's confusing. Anytime for Discord calls, we should have more, to be honest. If it's quick, yeah, I can get on Discord real quick. I know we should have more, just, sometimes I kind of... I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I kind of forget because I'm just juggling, you know, normally, not right now, but like Mingle and then TikTok and all that. So sometimes I do forget. Be real. Let me just open up Discord real quick. Still have like about 30 minutes before the debate, so I got a little bit of time. God dang it. Let's see. The debate's going to be on in an X space, but I will project it onto the screen. If you guys want to listen on the X space, there's no video, but it's just talking. By all means, go for it. But I went live just so I can, you know, we can do it at the same time. But the official debate will be on an X space. All right, we got one person in the waiting room. Split them up. Oh, no, they went away. Well, all right. Nope, they're there. Hello? Narain? Narain, hello? Hold on one sec. Speak. Oh, that's why. I know why I can't hear you. Hold on. There you go. Say something now.
Hello, am I audible?
That's better. I can hear you. Can you guys hear him on TikTok? Probably not, huh?
I can't.
I know why. I have to move this over. Wonder if this works. Can you say something now, Narain?
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Okay, on TikTok, can you guys hear that?
I couldn't.
No? Okay, let's try. I can try this, but I feel like this causes it to get all echoey.
I mean, Nick, if it's getting late for you, it's fine. I'll come later, like
It's
for the
okay,
debate.
hold on one sec, Narain. Can you guys hear that? Or does it sound super weird on TikTok?
I don't hear him at all. Oh, they can hear him. I can't. So go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, go ahead, Narain.
Yo, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
Good.
Yeah. So basically, Nick, I had some technical questions to ask you and had some suggestions. I don't know how can I like within like next 10 minutes. So I'll just try to summarize it to a lesser extent I can. So firstly, I think I had this suggestion to your moderators as well. I mean, to other people, that do you mind your followers like from Discord, TikTok, or like from Instagram, if they somehow like go to other people's live and like suggest them or like super chat them for debate with you? Because I mean, I had suggested this, like my friends had suggested this to the moderators, and they were saying that just have a consent with Nick. He might not be very pleased if you just go around, like your followers just go around and and like spam other people's life.
To answer you, I don't particularly like, you guys are adults, you guys can do whatever you want, but I also, like, me personally, I don't go chasing for people, really. Unless, like, there's someone specific, right? In which case I have no problem if people have connections, but, like, I just think of it from their point of view, not that I care much about their point of view, because I know you guys are going after people that are obviously not pro-Israel, so it's not like I'm trying to like help them, but I'm just saying when people just spam my chat, like, you should be this person, you should be this person, it just makes me want to block them. It's just because it's just annoying and spammy, and it doesn't make me want to go, oh, okay, yeah, I should totally look into that. So I assume if I think that way, then they're also going to think that way. So you guys do whatever you want. You want to spend your money on other people's accounts, like, you're adults, do whatever you want. I just don't know if that's particularly an effective way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so like one of my friend was actually went to Hassan's life with Bassam Youssef yesterday, and then he called you out like, who's this Nick Matau? He was actually my friend Aman. He was the one who had actually super chatted you right now, and he actually went to his live as well. So he just asked him, can you debate? And he just said, no, I just don't debate bad faith actors. So yeah, that's it.
Basan said that, or the
So-
kid with the red glasses said that?
Basan said that I can like, after my friend had like sent the super chat.
I did hear about
Bassam
this
said
because
that
somebody
who-
told me after that, but I didn't know it was Bassam that said that, but they said, like, I don't debate, but that's kind of weird that Bassam said that. I could be wrong, but doesn't he debate? He's debated before, hasn't he? What does he mean he doesn't debate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
Again, I can't
So
listen. I
I'll
can't
just,
force these people. I'd love to. I called Bassam out too on X, and I corrected stuff he said, and I said I'd love to have a conversation with you. But in the end, I can't force these guys. Okay, they say no, they say no. It is what it is.
Okay, so Nick, I had some technical questions to ask you. There were like plenty, but since it's like getting late for the debate, I'll just ask one.
Okay.
Yeah, I just minimized to one, and I just want to know like, what is your opinion on this? Okay, so when we talk about the October 7th attack, we are talking about like 1,200 people getting raped, killed, murdered, pillaged, like one of the huge disaster for the Jewish people after the Holocaust Day, and we are also speaking about 251 people who were kidnapped, right? So when we take the list of these 251 people, we had 168 people who were like returned alive from like during the negotiations, and tragically 86 people they passed away. Do you think, Nick, in any shape or form, like I'm trying to carefully word my question, like people get really pissed off, especially the pro BB people. Do you think Benjamin Netanyahu could have done a better job in the hostage crisis? Just
Well,
like
a couple things. One, it wasn't 86 who were killed in custody. A lot of them were actually killed before, and they just took their bodies in. Murdered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that out 86 corpses. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care to answer the question because it's like asking an obvious question, like, could you have done better? It's like, I mean, yeah, you can always do better. You can also do worse, can't you? But why does that particularly matter? You balance things. It just depends on what your priority is. If your priority is 100% just the hostages, no matter what, literally no matter what, okay, that's I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's your prerogative. Some people, the hostages were second. Some people were like, they're both first, and we need to balance the war, security, and the hostages. And so it's just it's not a question worth answering because it doesn't matter.
Because the reason I'm asking, Nick, which I said about the 86 people killed, because some of the people tragically were killed in the friendly fire and the mistaken identity, and the casualties of the active war zone. And the reason why this point is also bring up by these kind of Jews who are anti-BB but like call themselves Zionists is because in the past as well, Israel has went on to like prisoner exchange, especially in the case of, let's say, what was that guy's name? Gilad. If I'm not pronouncing it right, Gilad Shalit. Yeah, 1,000 prisoners were exchanged for like a
1,027,
Israeli
I think, yeah.
hostage.
Yep.
Yeah, 1,027. So yeah, so I was just asking, what's your take on it? Like should Israel should have so that more people could have brought back alive? Should Israel should have pursued a prisoner exchange?
Again, it's not a question worth answering because you can make the argument that in that exact exchange you're talking about with Shalit, Yahya Sinwar was released, and so many people died because of the mastermind of Yahya Sinwar and what he did with October 7th. So you can make that argument. You can also make the argument that one Jewish life is worth 1,000 of theirs, which ironically they're kind of implying that they're not worth as much as Jews because they're the ones offering one for 1,000. But yeah, you can make both arguments. Again, I don't care to have these conversations because it doesn't matter. It both answers are wrong and right at the same time. It just depends on what you as an individual sees as more important. Me personally, if you're asking like if you're forcing me to answer, I think there should be a balance, right? Because when you release 1,000 terrorists, including Yahya Sinwar, and then he turns around and kills. In fact, one of the nephews of the dentist that found Sinwar's tumor that led to Sinwar being saved,
yeah, exactly.
right? His
Not the
nephew
kibbutzes,
was
yeah.
his nephew was killed on October 7th. So every action has a reaction. Okay, I gotta get going though because I gotta get ready for this debate.
Okay, just can I ask you one thing? I just it was not a technical question, just like a personal question. So, hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Make it quick, dude. I gotta go.
Yeah. I'll just make it quick. Nick, are you like physically doing well in your life? Like I've heard this, like when it comes to your life, I just want to, it's a personal question. If you like, I'm not trying to like intrude into your privacy. Like you keep on like sometimes mentioning that I am a certain percent disabled, so I was just like
I'm fine.
saying
It's
that
not
is,
that
are you
kind of
like physically-
disabled. Yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So okay, I'll just I had some other question, but I'll like
All right. Thank you
like
so
come
much.
back
Have a
later.
good one, okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye. All right, guys. I'm sorry I can't take the waiting list anymore. I have to kind of prepare and start to get ready for the live. Nick, disable your disability. Yeah. Yes, you guys can watch the debate on this live. You guys, the debate starting in about 15 minutes. The topic of the debate is the two-state solution dead or simply delayed? All right, I'll let up a couple more requests just real quick. Srulik, what's
Yo,
up?
what's going on?
Hello.
Just before you start the debate, I mean, it's very easy for him to say, oh, Israel needs to accept a two-state solution. Oh, Israel needs to live alongside the Arabs. I would love for you to push a narrative where you ask him, how would you feel if the Shias asked you as a Saudi man to split up Saudi into two different states, making
Already
one
way ahead of
Sunni
you,
and one
bro.
Shia?
I'm already ahead of you. I thought of it, maybe not exactly wording it that way, but pretty much that, yeah. Not just that, even go further and say to split up Mecca, because again, I have to first find out what his position is with what he means by two-state, but some of them mean straight up like East Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine, which would include the Temple Mount. Some say, one second, please, baby. Some say that that would be the Temple Mount would be like under a sort of international thing. So I don't really know what his position is. Hold on, just give me 1 second. Go ahead, babe. Yeah, so I have to determine what that is. But if he says, East Jerusalem is going to be the capital to include the Temple Mount, then I'd have to ask him how would he feel, not just with what you're asking, which I agree with you, but if Mecca was put under control of, it wouldn't be apples to apples as Shia because that's their holy spot too, but like, just anyone else, right? That's not Muslim, or Christians, Jews, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just anyone else. And I'm with you. He wouldn't agree with that. It kind of makes me feel like Solomon and cutting the baby in half, right? The story. It's like you don't do that.
Exactly. Like they wouldn't mind cutting the baby in half and then having no baby, right?
Exactly. Yep.
They would love for that to happen. They would love to have a civil war and another chance at 1948. They would love that.
Yep, 100%. One
So,
Kings.
do you think
chapter 3?
Do you think you would be able to get him?
28.
Do you think you would be able to get him to condemn the actions of the ethnic cleansing of Jews from the Arab Peninsula?
I don't know. I don't know if that's really the topic though. So maybe if in a way it kind of comes up, I'll ask him. But I'm not gonna try to change the subject.
Okay, well, that's all I got to say about that. I simply don't believe in a two-state solution. So I'm very curious to see how it unfolds.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah. So what are his credentials? I know nothing about this guy.
One second. I don't know much about him. I wish I could answer that, but I really don't know much about him.
All right, let me just do a quick Google search. Okay, let's see.
Yeah. I have to see. Actually, let me join this live thing on X to see how it works. You guys might hear something for a second. Sorry. One second.
Fuck all y'all. Okay, so let me just clarify this point.
All right,
You're
I'm
saying
about done. I'm
that
about
there
done. This
is-
is the shit show.
there's-
This is
Yeah,
not what I
because-
come up here for.
I got it out. Now
It's
you
not what I
would've
came
let
up
me
here
out.
for.
Hold on.
This motherfucker has
I'm
no
trying.
Okay. Just trying to see where it shows up on my screen, but I didn't really mean for all those people to be speaking at the same time. My bad, guys. All right. Trying to create. Hold on. Let's try copying this. I could make it kind of like I think the X space shows up wonder if there's a way to mute it. Hold on one sec.
Motherfuckers who are engaged in this manipulative
You are a
bullshit.
liar. You are a
I'm a
grifter,
liar.
You
It's
are
on.
a
It's
con
on.
artist.
How is he
You
a
are
liar,
pissing people off.
Yankee?
I've proved to you.
What did I
time
lie
and time
about?
he's lying.
What did I
You're
lie about?
misleading
Because you don't want to
people.
get blocked
You're
either, Rachel.
misleading.
It's so funny. Sorry, guys. That's another X base. It's not. Okay. So we bring this over here. Then we expand out like this. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go back into the space.
To actually say
Boy,
what
you
I
better
have.
go.
just
Racist,
go.
You got
Good.
quiet something. Yeah, go.
So you said we only had 1 or 2 people that were associated with the Patriot coin that are now shilling for this one. That's not true. We have a whole litany of people. There are threads upon threads upon threads on Katie Kazoo's page. The person.
What am I lying about exactly, Yankee?
What did I just say? Did I not just say that you're
I didn't say that you only
misrepresenting
had
the
1 or
number
2
of
people. You said you had 1 or 2 people. I said name them, and you could not name any of them.
I said
name the
threads.
people
I said
from
they're in the
America.
threads, that they're a
Name,
litany of people in
bro.
the
They're
threads.
in the thread. That is trust me, bro. Shit. What people
No, it's not. It's
from
not.
the American?
You can just
I assume you guys on TikTok did not hear any of that, right? On the space. What I'm gonna need to do is, yeah, I figured you guys didn't, but you guys on YouTube definitely heard that, so I'm going to need to first off get rid of this. And then we are going to,
Am I not going to be able to hear it?
I don't think you will be able to. You might have to drop because, yeah, you're not gonna be
I
able to
might
hear it.
just watch. I might watch it. Stay up and just manage and watch from the TV.
Okay, but try not to speak too much because they're not gonna be able to hear you, and I don't want like multiple
I
things
literally am not
to
gonna
mess
speak.
me up. Okay, I'm just making sure because it's gonna just mess with everything. I'm gonna get all confused. Okay, I think it's this. Okay, good. We got that. All right, one sec. Let's join this one more time so I can line this up right.
Said.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we've all been saying.
No,
That's what the
everybody
whole thing
agreed
is about.
that everybody
watch it on
agreed
TikTok.
that one
Don't worry about it.
motherfucker
Not
posted
one. It was not.
hashtag.
See, there he goes. He did it again. He said it's just one. It's
Why,
just
why
one.
is he? Why you
Yankee,
just?
Yankee.
He
The
says they're a
best
team,
Yankee.
but he says they act
Yankee,
independently of each other.
Yankee. It's as I said earlier. If you're right, you should want him to be able to speak. So just let him say what he's got to say, and then when he's done, respond to what he says. It's simple as
catching
that.
him at lies real
He
time
can't
before he
afford that.
buries
He
us in
can't
them.
afford that. He can't afford that. He's got
Because
too
you
much to lose.
bury us in lies because you are a gaslighter, and lying
How
is
am
as
I
easy
lying?
to
I'm
as
not the one
breathing.
making the claim, bro. You are. How am I lying? You're the one making the claim. I'm not making the
I'm
claim. You
correcting
know
your
how this
lies
works?
that you're
The
telling about the
person,
story that
the
I'm trying to
Yankee,
tell.
you're interrupting him every time he speaks.
person who
Because
presents
he's
a
lying.
claim.
Why is that so
Look,
hard? If this was anybody else, you
Can
would
you guys
let
hear him
me
now on
cook this
TikTok?
motherfucker. Just saying.
No, I don't. I didn't meet you until today. I don't, and I don't frequent
Yeah, I don't know
diligence
what you're
spaces a
talking
lot.
about, dude.
So
All right, good. Okay, so we are ready for that. Go ahead and move this a little up, and there we go. All right, we are all ready. Now, all I need is... You guys, it won't be that loud when I'm with Dr. Hota because it's not going to be... That was just a random X space that I was using to line up the camera. I wasn't It's just gonna be me and him speaking, and like maybe the moderator. It's not gonna be a bunch of people being. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what that X space was. Why was I even in there? Or why is that even on my? Hold on, I'm with Max Prime. Who's Max? Oh, yeah. Okay. It's that guy that works for the Fit and Fresh podcast who doesn't like Sneeko, and he like followed me and started speaking with me
Now
after
that
the debate.
TikTok is like 20 seconds ahead of YouTube.
It's not 20 seconds.
At least 10 seconds.
Like 5 to 10 seconds, yeah. I know. I don't know why. But yeah, YouTube is a little far behind. Never been in an X space before, so I hope it works. Okay. One more thing. All right, you all. Yeah, no, he'll definitely show up, you guys. Is it going to be audio only or also video? Only audio. But because I'm live, you guys see my face, but this is just like a normal X space. It's just audio. I literally have never joined one before, so like I'm just hoping all I have to
Yes,
do is
you
just
have that one time that TikTok went away for like a day.
Oh, that's
Remember?
true. But was that on computer though?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I
I've never joined from the computer. That's true. There was one time when TikTok went away from America for 24 hours. We all went to an X space and I created one. That was kind of fun. It was like the Wild Wild West. Forgot about that. That's crazy. It was not like super fun though, because it was literally just Nazis, like straight up, and it was just boring. It just came up and they're just like, you. It's like, all right. And not that they don't really do that on TikTok either, but I don't know.
Kelly. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Dang, it's not. I can't even like pre-join. I like have to wait till specifically 11:30.
All right, guys, let's type up the live if you can, if you're here. Show some love. Do the things on TikTok. And I don't know how it works on YouTube, like the YouTube live. And don't worry, don't worry. You can catch it on YouTube later, like if you're like falling asleep, you know. But if you're here, thanks for being here.
Hey, it's 11:30 now. How do I join? Um. Hmm. Let me message him just to be safe. Yes, the debate's starting, y'all, for those asking. I just need to figure out. Maybe they're delayed a little bit. I don't know. It says 11:30 p.m., right? Yeah. Yeah, 11:30 p.m. I sent Ahmed a little message. So I'm sure he'll see it. That over to Doctor. What the? Where's the moderator from? The moderator is from Bahrain. But he says it very interesting. Like, I can't even say it with the Arabic accent. Like, Bahrain. Like, no, that's not even good.
Bahrain.
That was a lot closer.
Yeah, because
Alright.
they have the
Okay. Did he message? No? Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the delay. Just kind of waiting. Bahrain. Bahrain. Oh, he's typing. There we go. Okay, he says he has to click it himself. He said he's gonna start the space.
Why don't you put up that debate thing that I made you on top?
Because what's gonna go on top is the debate space. Okay. Okay, he sent. Let's see, sent a post. There we go.
Good evening, good morning to everyone. What's up?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hello,
Yes.
good morning, everybody.
Okay,
We can
perfect.
hear you, Nick. I
Thank
can
you.
hear you, Ahmed. Can
It's
you
my
hear
first.
me?
Yeah, it's my first X space. Just want to make sure I got it right.
Oh, you're great. Don't worry about it.
All right, live now. So, you guys want like 5 minutes to start or right away?
Do you wanna just like a 5 minute, until everybody can kind of jump into the space? It's recorded, doesn't matter, but whatever you want, Ahmed. You're the boss here.
Well, the best part about spaces, like the recorded spaces, I can start the space recording at the timestamp that I want, so it doesn't matter. We can start now. It's up to you guys. We can wait 5 minutes. Let's just wait 5 minutes. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, I'm all good with that.
All right. Let's just wait for the people to jump in. It
No,
will be
Nick,
hectic.
until like what is it? 6 hours ago, I don't know why I had the impression that you were either Israeli or Jewish, and somebody said no, he's not. He's neither. So
That's
that
correct.
kind of that kind of came right to me.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm
you're
not.
not you are a Zionist, complete Zionist, proud Zionist, I believe, right?
Yes.
And do you believe in the one state, I think, Israeli solution? Before we get into the debate, because just a little chatter here. You
Yeah,
believe in
no
the
problem.
one state? Yeah?
So, I mean, I believe that it's a complex issue, and to answer your question, like I guess directly without expanding, I'm definitely more of that belief. But I acknowledge that even some pro-Israelis say that there's issues with that, and so I acknowledge that it's a complex situation. But I am against the two-state solution for sure. But I've even heard of like the Emirates plan. I don't know if you ever heard of that by Dr. Mordecai Kader.
Yeah, it's like the principalities, which is more than one. I actually think that makes it even worse. You know
Yeah,
what?
I'm not for that. I'm just
start. I'm just too excited to just I don't want to wait.
yeah, yalla, let's go.
I kind of pushed Ahmed. Ahmed was like, "Listen, my breakfast will come soon. I'm gonna open right away." I said, "Ahmed, open the space. I don't care. Just keep it open, and then when you finish your thing, we'll do the debate." So, I'm putting Ahmed in the.
No. The breakfast was gonna come, but we have to actually stick to time, bro. It was a schedule.
So who's gonna start? Is it me or is it Nick?
Nick or Dr. Hoda? Who wants to start?
I'll let Dr. Hoda
I don't have.
pick.
All right, I don't have a problem starting. Okay.
So look, it's gonna be like 10 minutes opening. You can talk for less. It's up to you. 10 minutes opening statement, and then pretty much there's gonna be like 4 minutes rebuttal. Then we're gonna lower it to 3 minutes back and forth, as long as you guys want. And then we're gonna lower it to 1 minute, so you guys can summarize pretty much your points. And then if you guys want a closing statement, then we're gonna have Q&A for everyone else. It is Shabbat for most literally Jews around the world at the moment. America and as well as and Europe. So I think maybe we kind of should have actually scheduled this at a different time, but it's all good.
For sure.
So
yeah.
All right, Dr. Hoda, start in 3, 2, 1, go.